Take a look at the Carbine Club. This is for the 3-year-olds, of course, over the mile, and looking through the betting. 350 for Caymans at the moment, 370 for Dr. Doots. On course came
into the stalls also for Dwayne Dunn. And they're off in the Carbine Club at the 1600, and Trust Us got a flying start on the inside. Grand Couture got away quickly as up to second. Millbank next with the filly Tarmia pressing on from wide. Infatuation getting up on the rail. George's Boy Trap Deep is going forward, followed by NATO. Back towards the end, some of the favourite, the grey and the white colours outside. Infatuation. Dr. Doots at the end with Lucky Thunder on his inside. He's out 3 wide on Dr. Doots. George's Boy the leader up towards the home turn, out by 2 lengths. Tarmia, Millbank and Cayman's on the move deep out. 2 lengths NATO, Grand Couture, followed Trust Us on the inside as they swing for home, and Cayman's hanging out badly, has run right out wide. Back behind those horses then, Infatuation on the inside. Dr. Doots has pulled out wide and he's out in the middle of the track, followed by Lucky Thunder. George's Boy heads to the 300, Millbank after him from Tarmia, Trust Us, and down the outside then is Dr. Doots, and Lucky Thunder is coming with him, but Millbank darted to the lead, 150 to go, out by 2 lengths to Lucky Thunder and Dr. Doots on the outside. Millbank tiring, Lucky Thunder, Dr. Doots claiming him now, particularly Dr. Doots, who goes home the best, and the Doctor won it by a head to Lucky Thunder. Millbank third, Cayman's fourth. He was all over the shop today. Trust Us, NATO, followed further back Grand Couture, Infatuation, George's Boy folding, and Tarmia drops out to finish last.
So there we are, getting to the line, sticking his little neck out. That is Dr. Doots. He's not the biggest horse. He's by Redute's Choice, as I said, out of a Dr. Grace mare.
And wins it. Well done to Mark Kavanagh, Redute's Choice colt. Cost 150,000.
At Derby Day, we have a really interesting race coming up. This is the Saab quality for the stayers, and most of these horses, I think 7 of the 11, or 7 of the 10 now, with scratching of Newport, need to win this to get into the Melbourne Cup. And those horses are Get Up Jude, Cape Cover, Largo Lad, Glistening, Moatees, Book of Kells, and Chief coming first. So they all need to win if they're going to.
Support for Largo Lad, 390 into 360. Moatees struggling to lay Moatees. 370 out to 440. Light Vision is $3.30 out to 360 on track. No specking for anything at odds. Cape Cover's out to around the $11 mark, 25 to 1.
In racing, Cape Cover seemed to knuckle down in gate 2. Largo Lad, Moatees and Light Vision all begin fast, and Glistening being ridden up to try and take a position somewhere near the speed. And as they go to the post now, More Oxygen Please is coming over as well. It's Light Vision the leader from More Oxygen Please, and Chief coming first, dropping in right behind the speed in third, Glistening fourth. On the outside, Book of Kells, 2 lengths Moatees. Largo Lad, he didn't have sufficient pace to be too prominent, and a length and a half away on the field, Largo Lad, but he's been able to get him away from the rails, Oliver, and he now starts to make his move to get up on the speed. They're followed further back, Book of Kells holding down fifth, and then Glistening and Moatees, Cape Cover, Get Up Jude and Centaur at the end of the field, and Largo Lad, when he saw daylight, he really put the foot down. He wants to pull, and he's gone to the front. He's out by 2 lengths. So Largo Lad the leader, a length in front. More Oxygen Please second. 2 lengths away then came Light Vision moving up outside. Chief coming first at the 800. Book of Kells on the outside of Glistening, and 2 Moatees, Cape Cover, and at the end a Get Up Jude and Centaur. At the 600 metres, a place in the cup awaits for the winner as they swing around the turn. Largo Lad out in front by 2 lengths to More Oxygen Please. Light Vision pulled out from Book of Kells. Chief coming first. Moatees has got to the outside in clear galloping room, and then Centaur. Largo Lad at the 400 metres, 2 lengths in front. Light Vision's giving chase now, and Moatees is starting to wind up on the outside. Light Vision claimed Largo Lad. Moatees 2 lengths away, and Cape Cover's making ground. Light Vision the leader, 100 left to go. Moatees starting to get into the margin, and Cape Cover rattling home. Light Vision tackled by Moatees. Light Vision in front, they hit it. Moatees dive to make a photo finish. Moatees, Light Vision, Cape Cover close up third. Largo Lad fourth, and then Glistening. Further back was Chief coming first. Centaur, Book of Kells, Get Up Jude, and More Oxygen Please last home. Photo.
So Moatees gets into the Melbourne Cup, 50 kilos I think he's carrying there, so nice lightweight for him. And Bart Cummings has another runner there on Tuesday.
Well, he does. He joins viewed. Now, my reading of the situation at the moment is that Bart squeezes it out. Anthony, I believe that Red Lord was number 24 in order of entry. Newport's safe. At 23, Moatees will replace Red Lord. Now, that's assuming, of course, that no other performance. So there's the numbers. Okay, there's the totes on screen. 4:30, similar across the country.
Well, from a Sale Maiden to a Sale Quality to a Melbourne Cup, only Bart Cummings can get away with that. Kenny, Light Vision photo finished out Cape Cover, didn't have much luck running on Mr.
Well, my gut feeling says no, but on the other hand, he's a Derby Day winner trained by Bart Cummings, who's going to go around with 50 kilos in the Cup. So you'd be a mug to say that he's got no chance. It enhances the Geelong Cup form around Bow to some degree, of course, the result here. Cape Cover, blocked for a clear run, finds the line strongly. Cannot enthuse about anything else. Get Up Jude pulled up a bit lame.
He's been a bit of a tease, Rich, hasn't he, Moatees? But the timing, the Bart's got the preparation right.
You can't believe how much he's cost me in my life. I've backed him that many times. Yesterday I was on Light Vision. Largo lad pulling its head off, I think probably made, otherwise Light Vision would have had an easier time up near the lead. But look, it is Bart Cummings, but he only drops like 3 kilos to the Melbourne Cup. He's got to improve 10, I reckon, there.
Well,
he's a
improving horse. Its performance at Geelong was fantastic. You know, we're talking about Bow, now we're talking about Moatees and Bart Cummings. Claire Lindop takes the rides now. It's a lightweight chance, and it gives me the impression it's going to run the journey. I think what you've got to take into consideration too, Light Vision is no slouch. 25 indeed. Look, a terrific race. I tell you what, I thought the effort was very sound indeed.
Yeah, look, typical Bart timing. Look, long straight Flemington, isn't it? Long straight there.
That's what suits it, though.
Yeah, look, it was just a well-timed ride by Michael Rudd. I thought when Light Vision cruised up for...
I'm not going to disagree.
If it wasn't Bart and Moatees, would we be saying this is Melbourne Cup form? Bauer toyed with this lot.
Yeah, well...
Flemington, the Wakeful Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies is our next race coming up, and it is $6 a field, really. There are 3 of them at $6 at the moment. Miss Scarlatti, also Glow Lamp, and also Estee at this point in early...
$21 into 18, Arms Wide Open. Think Money is about $11. Rocha is about a third at 14 to 1.
Oh, it's a really good race for the fillies, and we'll get to see who is the top filly heading towards the Oaks very shortly.
1,000 metres. Arms Wide Open misses the start to Boogie Woogie, goes back. Glow Lamp the first out from a stay. Miss Scarlatti had jumped well. Sparks Flyers up there. Freedom March just off the speed, settling down, and Rocha improving out, looking for a place right on the speed as they've run through the first couple of 100 metres. It's Fly. I think she might have got in there 4th, although they're still just jogging along here. Freedom March, Testimony, Wonder Glow Lamp, a length Camilsey, Bauble still wide, followed by LA Wonder. Then came Think Money, Poker Guster over on the inside as they run up the side of the course now. To Boogie Woogie is still well back. Oval Affairs making a run, but out very, very wide, about 4th last, and Arms Wide Open at the tail. 700 left to go. Andestay has had an easy run in front. She's going to corner from Rocha. Testimoni's gone up wider. Miss Scarlatti waiting behind them, but she's got nowhere to go at the moment. And then Sparks Fly. Bauble and Oval Affair are off the track making ground, and then came Think Money. The fielders bunched right up, and Glow Lamp's coming with a run. It's a stay from Rocha. Miss Scarlatti still waiting on the inside. Down the outside is Glow Lamp. And at the head of the others then Sparks Fly. Now at the 300, a stay sprinting for home. Rocha stays on. Miss Scarlatti right behind them. These 3 are clear then from Testimony and Sparks Fly. It's now Estee tackled by Rocha. The maiden filly for Danny Nikolic. It's Rocha getting to the front. Miss Scarlatti diving through, but Rocha wins from Miss Scarlatti and a stay. Camilsey flashed home 4th from Glow Lamp, LA Wonder, Sparks Fly. Borst over was Freedom March, and Think Money beat probably about 4 or 5 to the line.
4th. It always looked to be a wide open race, and a maiden Rocha getting home. Danny Nikolic.
And very well, and Camilsey, as you pointed out, the best of the horses running on there, out wide, getting into 4th place.
3 are clear then.
Not sure if Chris Lees will be too concerned about that, but well done to the connections of Rocha, Terry Jarvis, Guy Walter, getting this filly out to a trip. Dan Nikolic, a lovely ride. Miss Scarlatti was good again. Estee had its chance on the speed. Camilsey, excellent chasing. Samantha Miss, she's home sweet Thursday.
Yeah, she's sweet. I spoke to Ronnie Krogan yesterday on TVN. I said to Ron Krogan after his horse Visa Lisa won, I said to him, what's Chris told you about Samantha Miss? Darling, it's a moral, just bet up. His phone rang straight after it was Chris, and he said...
They were home in 59.5, which Means they ran the first 1,000 metres in about 1:06. So it wasn't a staying test, but Camilzi was clearly the quickest last 200, strongest on the line. On the other hand, I'm not putting the pen through 1, 2, 3. You know, they raced on.
Rocha into $11, but Samantha Miss solid, and no surprise there at $2. The market's pretty.
Smart ride, Danny. You went forward. They absolutely walked, and I am none the wiser where, number one, these are going to be running in the race Oaks Day, and how that's going to pan out, because that told me absolutely nothing.
A joke.
Well, I mean,
and look, this is hardly any guide to an Oak, so maybe it is.
Well, maybe
it'll be run the same way.
Exactly.
Well, exactly. And Ron, the thing about it, if you watch Rocha over the concluding stages, though, these other two horses dictated, had the perfect run, and you watch right on the line, the winner is going as well as anything.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're going to talk about the fourth horse now.
Show me that again, because the run of Camilzi was unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's come off a...
Maybe she had a hard run in the Cox Plate, but she should beat them.
Kim Moore played.
This is one of the feature races. Really looking forward to this. The Cornwall Stud Stakes, otherwise known as the Ascot Vale. It is a Group 1, of course, for the 3-year-olds. And, well, we get to see in Melbourne for the first time on race day this speedy individual. Number 6, Northern Meteor. $1.80 he is on course at the moment. Of course, he's broken 2 track records his last 2 runs in Sydney, at Canterbury, and also at Randwick. And on the tide, he's coming back. And you'd rank, obviously, All-American and Von Costa de Hero amongst those numbers. And then Valander as well. He was a pretty smart 2-year-old too.
Oh, once broken through the front of the barrier stalls here, it's Valander. Valander's got through the gates and is away with the clerk of the course with...
It is devastating for them, because, you know, Group 1's for 3-year-olds. You're only racing your 3-year-old year. You only get one crack at each of them, and now their chances just disappeared. It's so frustrating.
This with the call.
Just about set. Fist of Fury in the gates, and they're set, and away they go. Von Costa de Hero seemed to jump okay. Northern Meteor began fast, and he's going to bring the field out to the grandstand side with him. Nash had no hesitation in making his way out this way, and it's Northern Meteor in front. Oregon's come across with him, is on the rails, and All American had dropped out to be last of all. So the field comes up towards the 600-metre mark now. Our Impressive Eagle's racing erratically. She's all over the place here. It's Oregon the leader, in company with Northern Meteor, and Nash having a look around everywhere. Captain Fantastic is next. Impressive Eagle trying to get into the clear. Von Costa de Hero's handy enough, and Fist of Fury running up behind the leaders now at the 300. Let's see what the Sydney Colt has. Northern Meteor now takes over the running. Fist of Fury off his back. Von Costa de Hero. Oregon's had enough. All American runs on. It's Northern Meteor at the clock tower. There's not a lot there. He's about a neck in front of Fist of Fury and All American. Northern Meteor's under the whip. He finds the line though, this boy. It's Northern Meteor. Northern Meteor scoring from Fist of Fury and All American. Von Costa de Hero ran 4th. Impressive Eagle 5th. Gee, she did a lot wrong. Back behind those horses, Oregon and Captain Fantastic.
Well, he is good. He got there. Fist of Fury, I reckon, looked half a chance with about 200 to go, and he's run right up to his wrap, All-American 3rd. Impressive.
On the rail too in the orange there.
Now, Northern Meteor in front. Look at Impressive Eagle there. 3 from the left. Have a look at that bang crash. She's all over the shop. And again with Von Costa de Hero. Look at her there. She's looking out and then goes the other way and whacks down. And Danny had a very hard ride, Danny Nikolic, on Impressive Eagle here.
Such an exciting horse. It was so funny because, anyway, when he moved, he was quite devastating.
How good is this horse, Gay?
Well, he's certainly the best 3-year-old colt in the land, isn't he?
Look, he's an outstanding horse, Bruce. I've got to feel sorry for Blake, because he would have been on him today had he not got suspended last week. But, you know, it was a lovely pick-up ride, and, yeah, look, he shows tremendous ability, and he's a huge up-and-coming horse. You know, he's very special.
The interim's on your screen, courtesy of Inglis there on race number 5. The Group 1 going to Gay Waterhouse and Nash Rawiller. Northern Meteor 2.
Short price favourite ridden by Nash Rawiller. I think All-American did a good job. Poor old Impressive Eagles having a good lie down this morning. Jay Holder and Dee Oliver both suspended for causing interference to her. I took her on and she came off worse out of it. $1.85 favourite, shorter with all the deductions yesterday, this horse. Nash, your first race ride, what do you think? What do you think of him?
I think he's an outstanding colt.
I just want to ask Steve, we saw in the head-on shot when the overview when they jumped that 4 were going to go to the inside. If Valander doesn't get scratched, do they still go to the inside? Then we would have had the 2 pairs on either side.
I think it's highly likely that Valander might have gone to the inside. Interesting race. I'm a bit with Bruce Nash. You know, you got a very soft first half. I guess I was expecting to see Northern Meteor blow them away. Is he a lightning horse? Is he going to come back and win a Newmarket? Is he that good?
I think he is, yeah. As I say, I don't think...
must be pretty good too.
Yeah. I think he is very good. Don't underestimate him. I know John's got a huge opinion of Fist of Fury, and so
it was right. It just took a little bit off the race, but I tell you what, this is something very special. In fact, again, Ronnie and I were talking off air. This was an awesome race, irrespective. The second horse, Fist of Fury, like for the amount of experience that it's had, to run down the straight and keep in touch with this horse, Northern Meteor, was meteoric in itself. As far as Costa de Hero. Look, I don't know, they make choices what way to go. Obviously, look, the ideal scenario for it in a race.
Left, right and everywhere.
Terrific race. Disappointing because Willanda was scratched, but just look at the makeup of the race. You know, you've got Von Costa, the Hero, and All American. Well, both, you know, they're multi-million-dollar deals these horses were purchased for. Willanda was a $1 million yearling. I know he was pulled out. Northern Meteor, well, who's to say he's not worth 10 or 20 million now? He's got a serious pedigree and he's a serious racehorse. And this second horse, Fist of Fury, he come from a Kensington track maiden, into a ratings 81, and he's come there at his third start in a race and performed so well. He could well be the best horse that comes out of Flemington yesterday long term.
Today, another Group 1 coming up. They just keep coming here today. This is the Crown McKinnon Stakes. Of course, a number of these runners are engaged in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, and Princess Cope is the favourite.
Well, let's have a look at the market for you. Simeone, he's $8 on track, a bit better on all totes. He was 60 to 1 when he won this race last year. Our Smoking Joe, 18. $6 Thesio, big odds. Ice Plan viewed as $15. Latorio, $5.50. Dollars out to $8.50. Barbaricus, $7 to $7.50. 80 to 1 Arlington, and Princess Cope over the page. Favourite on all totes. A little better on track. She's $3.60 out to $4. 5 to 1 hasn't budged. Ice Chariot $30. Rampant Lion 50 to 1. Viewed $16. Latorio $5.50 hasn't budged. $3.60 out to $4.20. So punters treading a little warily here, I think, in this McKinnon.
There is
Ice Chariot missed it by about a length and a half. Princess Cope straight out the back. Thesio, Arlington, Our Smoking Joe and Barbaricus are up there from Red Lord as they sort out their order now, and Arlington had no hesitation, speared across, took up the running. Barbaricus going up the second. Thesio will box seat. Our Smoking Joe getting a good trail fourth. Red Rule. Arlington leads down the side towards 1,000. Barbaricus, the Caulfield Cup place getter, in second placing. Thesio on the rails in third. Our Smoking Joe fourth, then Red Ruler, Rampant Lion. Two further back, Simeone, outside Viewed, and then came Laturio. Princess Cope well back on the fence, and 2 to Ice Chariot. Been no change, 800 left to go. Arlington a length, Barbaricus a length, Thesio, Our Smoking Joe 1.5 away. Red Ruler as they neared the turn. He's over on the inside in fifth placing. They're about to wind it up at the 600 metres and come for home now. Back behind those as they swing around the turn is Rampant Lion. Ice Chariot peels out the widest. Laturio's inside him. Princess Cope, she's still well back trying to weave clear. Arlington leads from Barbaricus. Thesio, Our Smoking Joe still there, followed further back then. Red Ruler's under the whip. Here's Simeone and Ice Chariot the deepest. Viewed having a bit of a bump there at the 200. Barbaricus sprinted to the lead now from Thesio. Simeone, Our Smoking Joe. It's Barbaricus clear at the 100 metres. Thesio coming after him strongly. Barbaricus a half. Thesio tries hard. He lifts the last little bit. Dive. Oh boy, I don't know either. Barbaricus or Thesio. Simeone third. Behind them then Arlington's close up with Red Ruler. Laturio, Leighton, Princess Cope. Further back in the field then came Viewed. Then came Our Smoking Joe, Rampant Lion, and Ice Chariot back towards the tail.
He's got up, I reckon. Thesio, Gay Waterhouse will win for the fourth time in the McKinnon Stakes. How's that for a record with another miler? Thesio, Girawilla. So back-to-back doubles, Group 1 doubles for Gay and Nash. She Barbaric.
Couple of horses, but every horse that she gets can take it, can't they?
She's the best trainer I've ever rode for, mate. You know, I'd say that from the heart.
Viewed was involved in a bumping duel at about the 300-metre mark, so from a Melbourne Cup point of view, perhaps you forgive him. Red Ruler
$3. Your Cornella 28.60 down to your trifecta 330. The first four with the 2 3,479, and we've got.
Well, surely the only place he was in front was where it counted. That was on the winning post, 2.384. Dashed home though, 33.80, made it impossible for those back. Slowly run race. Now she had the perfect run there, but you had to throw literally everything as we watched you do so here.
Yeah, look, you know, I have got. I am bred to be a jumps jockey, and quite often you would have probably placed in the race.
But you were very upbeat about this horse after the Cox Plate. You said this time next year I could be back and he could be a live contender.
Definitely. Well, he's just a horse that's kept on improving right throughout his career. And
sort of out of the race for you, Steve?
I don't think so, Bruce. Was very slowly run out in 1.5 first 1,000 and zipped home in 58.5, which makes it a bit difficult to assess horses like Latorio. Their late sectionals on paper were okay. You know, he ran 11.5 for his last 200, but you'd still probably want to. You'd love to have seen him finish a length and a half closer.
Most definitely. And what about Princess Cope? Now, she is a 2,000-metre horse. She couldn't get past the slow ones.
No, and she's going for a spell, and thankfully.
And was aggressively in the early stages
into the straight, but he kicked enough. He found Barbaricus's back and got there in the nick of time. All credit to Nash. I know he had barrier 2, but look, he got the job done. A couple of the others there, I think Viewed is a total forgive there. If he gets to Cup Day and gets a shower of rain, I think he's right there. In fact, I think he's Bart's #1 pick there. And Ice Chariot.
Tomorrow with the Victoria Derby, seemingly a one-horse race. The gun team of the spring so far, jockey Michael Rodd and trainer Mark Kavanagh, will again start the hottest of favourites. Caulfield Guineas winner Who Begot You is the raging hot tip in the Derby, but Kavanagh has cautioned punters who say the 3-year-old is already over the line.
Really should run the trip out and run it out well. You know, he gives you that look with his racing pattern, but until something's actually proven, we can't guarantee it.
If Who Begot You wins, he'll become just the second horse to win all 4 spring 3-year-old features, added to the Guineas, the Stud Stakes and the Vars.
Wasn't short enough, $1.65 a couple of days ago, but we've had to turn that off into $1.60 and now into $1.55. All they want is the favourite.
Well, they opened him at $1.65 here on course. He's now out round $1.70 at this stage, so still pretty short. The winner, of course, the Caulfield Guineas, the Stud, the Vars, and he did have a little setback. He had a bit of a cut on one of his forelegs, one of the fetlocks, a bit of some cuts and scrapes, but he has been vetted and passed fit to run. And out of maybe around 110,000 for the opening day of the carnival. Need to load these runners into the gate. Who Begot You, $1.75 and favourite for Mark Kavanagh, Michael Rodd. Here's Greg Miles for the call.
Now Tuscany View and the Tiger come up into the racing in the Derby. And Who Begot You jumped away with them. Preeminence didn't jump well. He's at the tail. Larry's Never Laid away with Wooker, Paddy O'Reilly and the Tiger out looking for the lead as they settle down at the post. And Who Begot You settles 4th last, and he's trying to edge away from the inside. The Tiger is the leader. He's out of the straight to the riverside by about 1.5 lengths. Paddy O'Reilly, who's just tossing his head about as he settles 2nd, and Wooker is 3rd. Carnero on the steel 4th. Orca is a little wide 5th, followed by Larry's Never Late. 2 lengths to Buffett's and Coolpay. 2 to 3 lengths away Tuscany View. Rebel Raider is around him, and a couple of lengths to My Scots Grey. About 3 lengths further back is Who Begot You. He's outside of Preeminence. He has a good run. 2 lengths away 4th. 2 Carnero. They're followed by Buffett and Larry's Never Late. Taking off then Rebel Raider, followed by St Coolpay. Tuscany View. Who Begot You is next at the 800 metres. He's on the outside. He's in clear room, and he's creeping up a little closer, followed by My Scots Grey. Preeminence, and then came Flash and Doe, and last was Relentless Lad. They're bunching a little as they come around the turn in the Derby. The Tiger from Orca on his outside. Paddy O'Reilly eased into clear. Wooker getting up behind the leader from Carnero, and Larry's Never Late. Let's see Rod here on Who Begot You. He's out the widest. He's starting to come, and Rebel Raider goes with him. They're heading down towards the 300 metres. Here they come now, and Rebel Raider's raced up on the outside. He's got to the lead. Who Begot You's going to have a job to get to him. Claire Lindop going for home here. It's Rebel Raider. Rebel Raider by 2 lengths in front of Who Got You. Claire Lindop will win the Derby on Rebel Raider. Rebel Raider by 2 lengths. Who Got You. He didn't stay at Preeminence third. Buffett might get fourth from Walker. Larry's Never Late. And behind them, My Scots Grey Tuscany View. And then Paddy O'Reilly. He's followed by Orca. And then came the Tiger, St Culpe, Carnero, Flash and Doe towards the end of the field. And last to finish was Relentless Lad. Rebel Raider, a bolter, has scored in the Derby at $76.
Claire Lindop has won the Victoria Derby. She's the only female. Have a look at Claire. The top rider in South Australia. She's the only woman ever to ride in the Derby. This is her second ride. She's the first Australian woman ever to ride in a Melbourne Cup. She was actually fifth in the Melbourne Cup last year on Dolphin Joe. I believe earlier today she got the ride on Moatees in the Melbourne Cup. She's beside herself. This is one of the great upsets in Derby history.
Value at Geelong. Yeah, look, he was a very ordinary run in the Hill Smith in Adelaide, and I thought he turned around a bit at Geelong, but didn't expect this, I'm sure.
So it gives you a great thrill that Claire's been able to share this moment with you. She's been with you a long time.
Nearly the happiest day of my life.
I never doubted the ability of this horse. It's just been a while to get him right. Full credit to all the stable and the team back home as well, Andrew Lewis, the foreman.
Popped out and you were able to give the Fave a bit of a nudge when it counted.
Well, I was a bit worried. I obviously want to go soon and go before Who Got You, but on the turn I was also trying to wait that little bit longer and get that little bit of a cut into the straight. And then I thought, God, I didn't think he wanted to shoulder out, but to horse's credit, he found that other gear today.
Have a look at those dividends. If you took the 2 favourites with the field and the trifecta, you get $1,900. If you took the 3 favourites with the field and the first 4, you get $16,000. $800 the running day.
Extraordinary performance. One of the most impressive Derby wins I can recall.
Yeah, well, you know, we were always very confident he'd stay, and I think that's probably what it is. A lot of horses don't probably run the 2,500 at this time of the year. We were confident he had to stay.
By reset, first Group 1 for that sire, Darley's sire there, 150,000 at the sales. What a stunning performance. He won like the price the second horse should have been there, Who Got You. 1 running away after 3 wide with cover for Claire Lindop. I was just saying, well, that's a more impressive performance than Efficient, who would come back a year later and win a Melbourne Cup.
Well, I hope history repeats itself, Bruce.
Well, you just got to believe what you see, Steve, there, don't you?
Oh, I think so, Bruce, because really when we now assess it too, the place getters, the obvious, Who Got You, Preeminence, they stay pretty well. They don't stay as well as Rebel Raider. The others are gapped and struggle to run out the trip. The overall time was reasonably good by general Derby standards, and they were strong at the end, the first 3.
Which,
and plenty of well-beaten horses do recover from running in the Derby, and I suppose when you look at the Origin, the Epsom Derby, it's run a little later in the season. A couple of the guys on radio this morning were talking about the big margins in derbies, but that happens a lot in the UK too. You see these 3-year-olds beaten 40 lengths in the Derby and they come back and win a Champion Stakes at 4. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm just wondering, you know, we're very early in the season, 3 months in. We've got an AJC Derby in the autumn at the 1.5 miles.
Which Leon's won, of course.
With Gold Guru and, of course, your first Group 1.
You know, people can, I suppose, pose the question that Who Got You didn't stay, but I don't think you're right. I think it did. They were clearly superior, and it's just a performance by Rebel Raider that surprised everybody. It's just one of those runs. You know, you can't by far the best horse in the race. However, it didn't prove to be on the day. There was good speed on.
What did you think at this point, Alf? Did you think Who Got You was still going to win?
Oh, Andrew, without question. Look, it followed Rebel Raider up, Who Got You, and Claire gave it a little bit of a bump on the corner. She was the one that actually kept the cover for a little bit longer. Irrespective of that, you know, you wouldn't even be giving it a bonus for it. But look, it's gone away from Who Got You over the concluding stages. Preeminence was a nice running on.
Then he went to the start and he won well off a hard run race. He was going to win here, and I just think his grand final day has already passed him. He still ran well, and we can't say that he just didn't stay the trip, because maybe he just come to the end of it. And Preeminence, well, he did his thing. He just doesn't jump.
Yeah.
And that just, from barrier 1...
One was always going to be a problem.
Instead of leading, he's back running second last.
Exactly.
At Moonee Valley, they all go from...
Now the Derby's been run. There is another Group 1 on the program. It's coming up. It is the Maya Stakes for the mares, and Forensics at the moment is topping the market at around 280 on Super Tab and 340 at the moment on course. Just a little bit of new blinkers coming off Latorio for the Cup. Nash Rawiller will be our special guest on Racing Review.
1600, the they're off. Translate jump well down on the inside, and also Dane Julia. Bellini Rose going forward. Eldana not far off from Galantess, and Mimi LeBrock from the outside spears over. He's grabbed hold of Forensics McAvoy, and she's gone back to third from last. Settling fully, Dane Julia has the lead from Autumn Journey, who's gone up on the outside and tackling her. A length and a half away then Bellini Rose tucked in for a trail in third. Translate next, and Mimi LeBrock caught 3 wide from the outside barrier. They're followed by Absolutely Fabulous back towards the end, being passed by Forensics, and then came Trick of Light and Tantat Delago. Up the side they race now, 800 left to go. Dane Julia from Autumn Journey and Mimi LeBrock on a wide run. Translate a length and a half away. She's fourth over on the inside as they sweep to the turn, and then Galantess. She is out wide herself as they swing around the turn from Bellini Rose. Eldana, Forensics tracking in on the back of Galantess as they come around the home turn now. In the straight of the Maya Classic, Autumn Journey outside Dane Julia. Mimi LeBrock poised on their outside after a wide run. Translate waiting for an inside gap, but she's got nowhere to go. Galantess was gone. Forensics running on, and so Benicia is also making ground. Mimi LeBrock, Autumn Journey hit the lead, but Forensics letting down with a run now, and she's sprinting home, and Absolutely Fabulous making ground, but Forensics takes the lead now for McAvoy. Drew a length and a half in front of her. Away she goes, and Forensics came away to score by 2 lengths. Absolutely Fabulous. Mimi LeBrock. Eldana flashes home. I think might get the fourth from Bellini Rose. Tantat Delago made a lot of late ground. A few horses cramped for room down on the inside. Autumn Journey, Benicia and Translate late in the piece. Then back behind those horses, Galantess, who was beaten a fair way from home. Trick of Light's back towards the end, and also Dane Julia, who weakens after leading up.
Well, she's broken her duck in Victoria. It was a great ride by Kieran McAvoy. It just worked out. And what a wonderful mare she's been. Won the Golden Slipper as a 2-year-old. She's won a Queen of the Turf. She won 3 straight races in the Autumn Forensics. And today she steamed home to win. She had the...
In Melbourne on Derby Day. What a great thrill for you.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time, Bruce, and it's come up today.
This filly put the writing on the wall last night. You must have gone in with a great degree of confidence. Yes,
their preparation has been perfect. The run in Sydney was great. The run in Melbourne, he was fantastic, and she's just done so well since. And I'm really, really pleased with the effort. I'm just over the moon.
I know you get...
Check of the totes for you on screen. Pretty similar across the country there. Forensics $3 on track, $3 on track, $3 out to $3.70 and back into $3.30.
Well, she deserved that. She hadn't had much luck this preparation, and the Golden Slipper winner comes back a Group 1 winner at 4. The daughter of Flying Spur out of Prove It, beating Absolutely Fabulous, who continues to race well without winning. Mimi LeBrock, terrific. 3 wide from the bad alley and pressing forward, but it was a perfect ride here by McAvoy, and was always betting in the run on this one. Rich, she would have been pretty pleased to go with her again.
Yeah, look, Kieran's copped a bit of criticism. I've been right at the forefront. He's ridden a lot of poor races, but that was a 10 out of 10 ride yesterday, Forensics. He got her back, he got her just settled, he got the lovely cart in the race. And look, the Golden Rose form, Bruce, we speak about it every year, is just one of those races that has merged over the last 6 years that's been outstanding. She won the delayed Golden Rose early on in the year. She was well weighted yesterday at the level weights, and she was dominant.
Hard in the early stages, got caught 3 deep with no cover, but still battled on quite gamely. And when things fall into place perfectly for Tantat Delago, it's going to win a nice race, but its style simply doesn't help it.
Good on you, Kieran. Well done. Yeah. Well done. A lot of criticism recently, and he wins the Group 1 here, and a great training performance.
Sydney journeys, you got stuck into him up there.
Come on, fair's fair.
No, we haven't.
And he deserves credit here. He got the job done in a major race, a Group 1.
Yep.
And look, all credit to him, and a great training performance too. She's been set for this race from day one, this prep, and you've got to give Peter Snowden full accolades there. And
Flemington Carnival joining us on Tuesday. All right, let's have a look at the Salinger, the market for the sprint here, the feature sprint race on the program, and it is over the 1200, of course. Hot Danish, $4.30.
It'll be a spectacular race. It's the Salinger, a great race every year. Swick won it last year. He's back to defend his crown. Hot Danish is $3.60 out to 4. Fritz's Princess $6.50 to 8. Nuclear Medicine is $9 out to 12. 40 to
of him before they jump, but there's Hot Danish. We'll have a quick look at her in a second once the totes have been on, and she does look an absolute picture of health.
Certainly does. Les Bridge prepared.
Racing. Hot Danish didn't seem to jump all that well. Keen Commander away very, very quickly. Nuclear Medicine got away fast as they head towards the grandstand side of the course here. Publishing was away very fast over near the outside. And as they settle down, Keen Commander was able to carve over and find the lead in the pink colours against the rail in front of Nuclear Medicine. Just in behind them, Hot Danish has got into a challenging role. Publishing is following, and they were being followed. Bonhoeffer right up the middle of the track. Back in the ruck then at the head of the other horses is Fighting Fund, who's in traffic. Graders with him. Fritz's Princess between runners and back towards the NG. Sunburnt Land in a pretty awkward place. He's back second last from Valedictum at the 400 metre mark now. Hot Danish coming with her run. In the red caps, he's gone up to Nuclear Medicine under pressure, and King Commander looked beaten. Fighting Fund comes on Biscayne Bay, Publishing the outside rail. Sunburnt Land cantering, but he can't get a crack at them. Hot Danish from Fighting Fund. Biscayne Bay gone. Bella Valentina was next. It's Hot Danish in front. Fighting Fund is coming back. Hot Danish about a head in front though. Hot Danish too good, beat Fighting Fund to neck. Sunburnt Land a length and a half away third. He finally got out. Great fourth. Then Bella Valentina. King Commander. Valedictum finished the race off okay down there with Swick Princess Prince, who was Nuclear Medicine.
Well, the Sydney Siders, we didn't have them here last year with the EI, did we? But they're having a very good day. You think of Gay Waterhouse, the last couple for Renzix and Hot Danish. And despite the fact we've had a 100-to-1 Derby winner today and a roughie in the wake for, the favourites are rolling in now.
Danish recording win number 8 from 12 starts. Throw in 2 seconds there. And what a great record she's building.
Wins here on Derby. What a great thrill for you and deserve it for her.
Yes, well, the last 3 runs have all been on heavy tracks in the Coolmore and the Doncaster, and then the shorts the other day. And well, you see what she does when she gets on. And the heavy tracks dull her brilliance, but you know, I've only kept her fresh for this race today. She's not really a 1,200 metre horse, but she's got all class.
No doubt about it.
On track, she was $4 into 370. Let's have a look at the Salinger.
What a grouse mare she is, and targeted that race. Les Bridge kept her fresh for at the 5 home, beating Fighting Thunder was terrific, and Sunburnt Land. Well, we all saw what happened to it, and it wasn't pretty, but you can't deny the winner. She's a winner. She keeps winning, Steve.
It's a bit of a Queensland expression, isn't it? Grouse. She's a grouse mare.
Ain't wrong with grouse. Nothing wrong being Queenslander either.
She is grouse, no doubt about that. She's won 8 from 12. The runner-up is bursting to win a race somewhere. The Sunburnt Land, well documented. Just caught up behind them in traffic. That happens in straight races. C'est la vie. You roll the dice and sometimes it doesn't fall your way. But she's a really good mare, and I think Les Bridge regards her very, very highly.
Yeah, Steve, he never hid.
It's a good point, Bruce. Why not have a crack at the Classic? Take over Target Apache Cap. They're first up.
Yeah.
Gee, I'd be tempted.
Well, we might see.
The angle was distorted there, but he certainly got to her, and she rallied her.
Loves the dry track.
Yeah, she does. And I love this mare. She's a winner. And look, you get a feeling about a horse sometimes. They put up $6 Wednesday. I backed her at $6. They were still betting Friday. I backed up at $5 on Friday.
And you were betting
I was taking $3.70 at the finish there, because there was never. You're looking for a negative, and no one could give you one. It was just positive all day. Everyone was confident about her.
I think a lot of people fact that Hot Danish performed very well first up. You only have to look at her race record. She's now won 8 from 12 and a couple of seconds as well. That is simply awesome. I tell you what, that's, in my opinion, when you've got to give a tremendous amount of credit to the trainer here. He does a fantastic job, Les Bridge. He's been around for a long time. We were watching him a bit earlier on the program. But Sunburnt Land, don't take anything away from him.
No, no.
He's got there in a big hurry, and he hasn't let us down either. He was held up for quite a good period of the race. From where he drew was never going to be perfect, but a very, very serious galloper. There's no question about that.
Racing for the interstate plunderers here today. Let's see if the Vics can get some back. You'd hope so on Tuesday.
John Egan.
Yeah, look, this is quite amazing. He has been charged, John Egan, rather. This is, of course, the jockey on board Yellowstone, which was past fit to run, of course, for the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, trained by Jane Chappell-Hyam, and he's been tin pot Hitlers. So I think he might be in a bit of strife there. I Belong to Me, currently on course, $4.80, so he's come in from $5.50 to $4.80. He is, of course, the half to...
Worried me a little bit, but if he can settle sort of first half dozen and the right man on board, Ollie, I was just concerned he might find some trouble from an inside gate. With clear running, he's probably the horse to beat.
Interesting, of course, all silent there, very heavily backed in the final race of the day. Of course, to Bart Cummings with Moatees, Wakeful Stakes, Rocher for Guy Walter, then the Coolmore Stud Stakes, or the Ascot Vale to Gay Waterhouse's Northern Meteor. sure. And the McKinnon going the way of Thesio for Gai Waterhouse. See what happens, the final race of the day, Steve.
Well, I know where I'd like to go.
There certainly has, Bruce. Here we go. Here they go again. Forensics in the 8th. Hot Danish in the 9th. Now they've had a huge whack at All Silent. $5.50 it got out to, now into $4.40. So this has been one of the better goes of the day. A little bit of money.
1,400 metres.
It's all right.
Away they go. Beautiful start to the last two. Pinnacles away well with Falaise on the inside to Fontaine, and Royal Discretion coming over quickly. All Silent drifting back, and he's going to settle around midfield on the rail. Royal Discretion after 200 led Fontaine. Sniper's Bullet from the deep out is coming over as well to ensure it be a strong run race as he goes to the lead. Side All Silent the rail, and then came El Cambio. 2 lengths to Friday Creek as they come past the 800. Then Cape Malcolm, Mr. Baritone. A length and a half, Diganero, Blue Tigeroo and Double Dare brought up the rear. Coming up towards the home turn now, and at the 600 metres it's going to be Sniper's Bullet, the leader into the straight from Royal Discretion, Helideck. Right behind those horses, Turfontaine, who's needing it out as they swing for home, and then Falaise. Pinnacle's getting up on the inside, and All Silent is following him through there. And wider out then came Stickpin. Sniper's Bullet nears the 300 in front of Royal Discretion. Then Pinnacles and All Silent getting up near the inside. Sniper's Bullet the leader though. At the 200 is a length and a half. All Silent getting through. He's coming up on the inside, All Silent. Sniper's Bullet from All Silent. Pinnacles. Sniper's Bullet in front. All Silent railed through though, and Ollie got him home. All Silent beats Sniper's Bullet. Stickpin a length and a half third. Turfontaine fourth. Then came Mr. Baritone, Friday Creek. Falaise with El Cambio just behind those. Nicanero, he wasn't all that far away from Malcolm. Royal Discretion, Wigan, Blue Tigeroo. Then Friday Creek, Double Dare towards the end, and Tears I Cry. And back last to finish is Helideck. Into the straight from Royal Discretion, Helideck. Right behind those horses, Turfontaine, who's needing it out as they swing for home, and then Falaise. Pinnacle's getting up on the inside, and All Silent is following him through there. And wider out then came Stickpin. Sniper's Bullet nears the 300 in front of Royal Discretion. Then Pinnacles and All Silent getting up near the inside. Sniper's Bullet the leader though. At the 200 is a length and a half. All Silent getting through. He's coming up on the inside, All Silent. Sniper's Bullet from All Silent. Pinnacles. Sniper's Bullet in front. All Silent railed through though, and Ollie got him home. All Silent beat Sniper's Bullet. Stickpin a length and a half third. Turfontaine fourth. Then came Mr.
Amy Nola, we know what a great rider he is, and he's produced one of the best rides of his career, I reckon there. I mean, I know it's on 5.50 to 4.20. As Pat said, the last 3 winners have been backed off the map, so punters...
I've just whopped the fur off Richie Friedman, trying to get him up, but look out, look at the tight run he takes here.
Oh, no, it's a great ride. The punters picked it right. They picked there'd be speed in the race, and that's what he needed. That's what's got him home here, apart from the great ride, which it was, is that with speed up front, and the leaders just couldn't keep going. Did a very...
El Cambio just behind those.
So All Silent takes out the final race, and we've just heard Graham Begg saying on course that the horse will go on towards the Emirates next Saturday. He will back up in the Group 1, and really good to see the way he came.
Skinny run, good horse, gets into the Emirates now, and the favourite completed. A pretty bad day for bookies, considering they had a couple of, well, 100 to 1 winner in a derby, and some results early doors.
Yeah, $5.50 to $4.20. I spoke to young Tom Waterhouse last night, and Tom said he had the better of the punters early.
He was hoping this gap closed here. Sniper's Bullet just rolled off the fence.
He said the last 3 races he did something like 2 million, Steve. That's your numbers.
They can make you look at mugs sometimes, isn't it? It's embarrassing. It's heavily backed. It's the market mover. You know, you haven't put it anywhere in your tips in best bets. And I didn't for a simple reason. I thought Barrier 2 is going to finish up 13th the fence, can't win. And Ollie, just too good.
Sniper's Bullet.
Well, what happened there, Michael Rod explained that he was unable to get a clear grip.
Well, he paid off, Stickpin third.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ride, Sniper's Bullet. There's no question about that, because from its gate it was always going to be in a little bit of bother, but made a decision, went forward, and look, was run down over the concluding stages by a very good galloper in All Silent. We saw it in the Epsom handicap. All the forms worked out around it, so you can take absolutely nothing away from it. The thing I liked about the performance is that Damien didn't have to get to the bottom of it, and I tell you what, I have never seen Graham Begg and his father Neville with such a big smile on their face yesterday. Not so much after the win, but just knowing that it hasn't had a hard run and it goes on to the Emirates, and it'll back up and back up very, very well indeed. I think
I think you're 100% right there, Alf, because I think when we spoke to him on radio yesterday, Andrew, they were saying, well, next week's our target, and they were sort of implying that we don't want it to have a hard run this.
But it had to win to get in it.
And he rode it softly, and it was like a track gallop. I think he'll back up really, really well next week. And look, Stickpin was wide all the way. It was a slowly run race, and this is where you have to give the track.
The Sydney horses fared pretty well.
Yeah, look, they didn't have a bad day. I was a little disappointed, Graham. I was a little disappointed. I thought they may have won 9 of the 10, but they only won 8, so they didn't do a bad job there, subject to what Richard Friedman might have said last week. But what a day.
Brilliant. Hamilton on the lawn out with the public. And Delta Blues, of course, from Japan. No Japanese this year. Trainer who's trained 22 Group 1ers this season. Amazing. 22 Group 1 winners. Johnny Murtaugh's ridden 20 of them. Septimus, he's not named after the horse on Friday. 58 kilos. Of course, Makybe Diva carried her 3rd Melbourne Cup. Steve, you've got to go back to think big to carry this sort of weight. Is he fast enough to win a Melbourne Cup? I know it seems a silly statement to make when you're talking about a 2-mile handicap.
He's fast enough if the pace is genuine. If the pace is muddling, he probably can't win. The weight's clearly a factor since the introduction of metrics in 1972. 33 horses have run in the Cup carrying 58 or more, and only 2, the 2 that you mentioned, have won. Think Big and, of course, Makybe Diva, who had previously won Melbourne.
Rich, what are your thoughts on Septimus?
I think he's a good thing, Bruce. I think there's only two. I think there's only 2 possible hopes, and I think he's one of them. I love.
Slight concern is, is whether the ground is safe or not.
Okay, now on that point,
we had a look at the track, and yeah, listen, we're just concerned that it wasn't safe ground.
As in too firm?
As in unsafe, I'd say. Just not safe enough. Like
night thunderstorms. When you say safe, Tom, you're saying that you believe there needs to be more give in the track.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more water.
Okay, righto.
And that's what they're used to.
Gets back to ride C'est Le Gueux, which is French for this is the war. Steve knows it. I like this run in the Cox Plate, Steve. I suppose you can compare it to Efficient's run in the Cox Plate last year.
I think you can, and I think he's a live chance. C'est Le Gueux, he did, after all, win the New Zealand Derby and thrash most of those other horses that we've been speaking favourably about of late, including Nom de Jeu.
And of course, C'est Le Gueux.
Now it would like the rain. We won. This is the race, Graham. Actually, the New Zealand Derby, when it was very much rain affected. The format of this race stuff has been enormous all the way through. But Cox Plate was okay. It got home all right, but wouldn't mind a little bit of rain.
Were they going down to their knees?
Yeah, look, I'm a little concerned that they might be asking for rain, the Europeans, and it might backfire because there's a couple of really good wet trackers in C'est Le Gueux and Nom de Jeu in the race. But look, I think the time.
Name of the game it means Nom de Jeu. He's ridden by a South African, Jeff, but he comes in great form. His last win was the AJC Derby. This will be some sort of historical feature, Steve, to win the Derby and the Cup.
Certainly would, but his run in the Caulfield Cup was cracking. We're already seeing the Caulfield Cup form holding up extremely well this year. You have to entertain him to some degree. I think Barrier 1's probably not ideal for it. He's got to be in the mix. Again, rain would be a further plus, but he's okay on top of the ground as we saw this day. Look, all the good, Nom de Jeu, Mad Rush and Barricus were the best runs in the Caulfield Cup. You've got to entertain.
You've got to must though, because the winner of the Cup's not there. So
exactly
it's always the best form guy. The 8 Mad Rush for Luca Kamani and Damien Oliver. The pair teamed up to run second last year. In fact, Damien second the past 2 years. He has won it twice. Balloon-type run, really, wasn't it, in that Caulfield Cup we just showed you? You've got not too many negatives here, you would think, Steve.
I don't think so, Bruce. Very Purple Moon, very Delta Blues. The year before, fantastic performance in the Caulfield Cup. That's good enough. He's clearly the horse to beat for mine.
Well, he just ticks all the boxes. His run in the Caulfield Cup was an absolute...
I'm just happy with the horse. We've had a look at him. His run in the Caulfield Cup was absolutely outstanding. I don't think he's handicapped to his full potential. He's only lightly raced. He's a 4-year-old colt. He gets every tick in the book here. He'll run a short price favourite.
You think he'll take over from Septimus?
Look who's riding him. And the Australian public have had a look at him. I wouldn't be surprised if he come up 5-2 on all the totes.
Has the flood of money come, Glenn?
Well, I don't know. Duff must have been looking at this computer, because I can tell you, as of this morning, Mad Rush is now the equal favourite in the Melbourne Cup.
Oh, really?
Septimus. He was 6th. National horses is. Once they've run here, they usually do improve.
Richard?
I want to be on him too. I think he's getting 5 kilos off Septimus. He's probably a 5 kilos inferior horse to Septimus too. I don't think Septimus is badly weighted, by the way.
How do we know that?
He's pretty.
TAB 10 is Viewed, trained by Bart Cummings. Will he be that sense of time again with Bart chalking up his 250th Group 1 with his 12th Melbourne Cup. You wouldn't put it beyond Bart, but this horse has had an interrupted preparation, and you don't like that. And yesterday he had a shocker. He was knocked from side to side here, Steve.
He had a very torrid run in the straight. We've just highlighted him for you, of course, the Dato tan colours, the checks and the yellow inside, and just from here Damien's laying on him, and he got tightened up a little earlier as well. So, gee, it's hard. You'd like to have seen him have a clear run to see him hitting the line, to see what sort of shape he's in. Gee, it's the genius Bart, so you're reluctant to say no.
I was going to say, if it wasn't Bart Cummings, what would you say?
100 to 1.
And I reckon that'd be unders. I don't think he's had enough kilometres in his legs. I know he won the Brisbane. He's had enough kilometres in his legs. I know he won the Brisbane Cup, and that was on a bog track. That was probably his most dominant win, being by Scenic. He loved the going. He relished that day. He was 8 deep the trip and just times.
Is there any issue for the punters?
$31 needs a flood. That's about the only thing.
Ronnie, if the rains come...
Well, we all know that he had a setback leading into the Caulfield Cup, and if you replay that race again, you'll see he ran very, very well. So I'm tipping if we do happen to get that shower, he's right up there in the mix for sure. He's been set for this race for a long time.
He was back with Rush on that occasion, and he had nowhere to go either. The last 50 yards, he was very strong indeed. Richard, did you spot it?
I don't mind him. I think he's, one of those horses you can put in your trifectas. I don't see him winning the Cup, but I think, if you're going to take a few horses wide, into trifectas, well, he's probably one you can put in. I think he's the...
Kamani with Australian interests in this horse. Corey Brown has been a runner-up on Mr. Pruden. He's been placed...
Vision, of course, running second. This horse, Bauer, ran 7th, of course, as we've touched on earlier, behind All the Good and Yellowstone and the Newburgh. That day he was ridden a bit closer. Just the Racing Post summary said he, was there to the 400, didn't finish it off. Is he just that rung below? I suspect that possibly he is. I think he's a half.
You talk about the A-graders coming over from overseas. He really doesn't look an A-grader on the form that he's brought over. But in saying that, Media Puzzle comes over and he goes through that same route to win the Melbourne Cup. You've certainly got to include him. As we
find him light on the trip, it's a horse that you cannot dismiss.
Yeah. Well, we've got Light Vision, we've got Moatees outside him here. He seemed to toy with him. He's got a turn of speed. I think the dry track is the key to him, looking through his form. There is a little suspicion that he could be risky at 2 mile.
Yeah, look,
He's won it, and Light Vision's run second. That form looks pretty... This horse all comes down to price to me. If he's 40 to 1, I'm on him.
Spot on. And that's what it's right.
Be honest. The viewers want honest thoughts.
Yeah, well, you won't be getting 40 to 1 at Ronnie. I can guarantee you that now. It's a 20 to 1 chance at the moment.
Yeah, and
it is. You could have been on it. One customer is actually on it. The first bet on Bauer, 6,000 at $71. So they're very, very happy with the way it's going.
Well, that's got to be this year's Cup is 18, Profound Beauty, trained by the man who's won it twice, the only European trainer to do so, ridden by the jockey who's won it 3 times on a superstar, Profound Beauty.
Everything else is a bonus, but this is a filly, hopefully, that will come back to Melbourne again in the years to come.
Well, without any doubt, you can't say no, and you must include it whatever you do.
I think if any horse in the Melbourne Cup blows him away, it'll be this one. With the 51.5, I talked about the line through Pepper Tree Lane, the Septimus form. Got to beat Septimus home on that form line. Her win 2 starts back was spectacular, just settled midfield, travelled sweetly, worked into the race, blew them away. Next run was on heavy ground, forget that. The other thing I like is that her best form is on good to dead ground. Of all the...
Well, she's probably looking at our worst results. She was $14 last week, beginning of last week. She's into $8 now.
Well, working wide out here at Sandown, I was very keen to find out what time she was running, because it felt like she was going a lot slower than what she was actually running.
That's a good sign in itself.
That's an indication of a very good horse.
Yes.
Her 3/4 speed, it felt like I was cantering.
Glenn, this is the Challenge Stakes now. This is the first time that she was past 2,400. This is 2,800. She blows them away in very fast time on a good track by 4.5 lengths. That must be encouraging.
Well, I mean, she's a Danehill, and generally they're horses that like dead good ground. Not too many actually.
Back runner in the Melbourne Cup over the last 3 days. It's $9. Even this morning, one bet of 5,000 and one bet of 2,000 on it this morning. A bet on Friday morning of 20,000 at $12. So it's been $12 to $9 since Friday.
Glenn, so are you saying? I don't want to put words in your mouth. No. Are you saying Septimus then can't win?
No, they need rain. They need help.
Yeah,
I don't know whether Septimus does.
No, well, he's different. Yeah.
His form is all on wet tracks.
Exactly.
And he shows...
Market from Luxbet for the Melbourne Cup. And can you see any changes to this in the countdown to Tuesday, Steve?
No, the feeling would be that Mad Rush might end up being the favourite on his own.
Rush, Nom de Jeu, Barbaricus, and I think the next two are definitely Sailor Gur and Profound Beauty.
I've got a lot of friends in Europe and they tell me he's the best stayer there. I don't think it's... I've ruled out the Australian horses quickly. Barrier 1 I think is a huge advantage, and Honolulu, I was happy he drew wide.
Mad Rush on top, Profound Beauty second pick, Septimus for third, and as a roughie, I think Boundless has got a sneaky go at...
The Caulfield Cup form's going to stack up here. Nom de Jeu comes for the same race naturally. Barbaricus was my roughie for the race. I can't leave Septimus out.
Well, yeah, Profound
Beauty. Well, you wanted it that way. You told us. You said, I don't care who else goes, but I'm going first.
Oh, I would never do that. Profound Beauty, Honolulu.
Ron.
I'm Profound. I'm Mad Rush. I think Mad Rush is a good thing. To beat the Profound Beauty. Honolulu is the knockout horse for sure and viewed Bart's best runner.
No, well, I'm going to stick with Johnny Murtagh. I think he is an exception. He'll work it out perfectly. I'd like to know, does he hope?
Well, to be honest, I couldn't care less. The plate of sandwiches has arrived here on the desk, and that's all I'm worrying about.
I'll stick with Mad Rush. I think he will win. He beat Septimus, who will give.
My tips on the Cup. Nom de Jeu, I think it's running the Caulfield Cup was very good. Its Australian runs are outstanding. Mad Rush,
the car, but there was plenty of money around with one punter backing Profound Beauty to win more than $1 million.
We took a bet to win $1 million at $8, Profound Beauty. The downside to it is actually the horse that I like.
It's also the Septimus $8 and down to number 5 Nom de Jeu also at $8.70. So the Tate punters have been pretty solid with him. Mad Rush $5.30. $5.30 for Mad Rush. We'll scroll down the page. What's that? 12. Cup, isn't it? You know, all horses hovering around that $30, $40 mark. Some of them you would think would be longer. New 18, $5.50. And we have two market movers in the Melbourne Cup. They're Nom de Jeu and Mad Rush. They're the ones they've come for.
Well, they both look great. We didn't get a good look at Nom de Jeu. We'll see if we are able to pick him up. But absolutely sensational. So relaxed heading out. You know, he's a stallion. A lot of these European horses are stallions. And I think what's really added to the Melbourne Cup this year and the past few years is the lead up. We know what happened.
Inside and sailed Sailor Gear, Master O'Reilly, Gyno dropped in, Nom de Jeu seemed to get away okay. Viewed handy too, Septimus is going up with Red Lord, Prize Lady is coming over quickly. Boundless is up on the speed, far away coming over, Moati's trying to slot in, Laturio went right back towards the end in company with Newport. Honolulu still on a wide run, right behind him is Alessandra Volta. Sorting out their order now, they stretch across the track. And here it's Septimus with a narrow lead with Boundless on his outside, Barbaricus on the rail. Far away in the black colours is up there. Deeper is Honolulu. Alessandra Volta is still staying out about 6 wide down the straight. Moati's Prize Lady in behind the leading bunch, and they're followed 2 lengths away by Viewed. Profound Lady in on the fence, 1 further back is Red Lord. About 3 Master O'Reilly, 1 Gallop and a length and a half Bower. Nom de Jeu getting up on the inside, being followed 2 lengths away to Mad Rush, Sailor Gear, and zipping the stablemates racing hand into one another, followed by Newport, Gyno, Laturio, and Ice Chariot on the rail last of all. As they went out towards the riverside now, and Alessandra Volta takes over the running, and he leads by 2 lengths to Septimus. A length away Honolulu. They're going to ensure a very strong gallop in the Melbourne Cup. They're 4 lengths in advance of Boundless, who's moved up into 4th placing on the outside of Barbaricus. 2 lengths then to Varavay, a length and a half to Moati's Prize Lady, a length to Viewed. Then came Profound Beauty, and 2 lengths away Master O'Reilly, Red Lord. A length for Sandra Volta takes them out to the 1400, and he leads by 2 lengths. Septimus second on the inside, Honolulu on the outside, and they're about 6 lengths in front now. From Boundless 4th, and then Barbaricus a length away 5th, a length and a half to Moati's. Varavay on the inside, 2 lengths away, then came back on the inside Prize Lady as they go down the side, and then came Viewed on the outside. Past the 1200 metres, 2 lengths Profound Lady. She's being followed by Profound Beauty, and then Master O'Reilly, Red Lord, Nom de Jeu, 2 lengths to Gallop, and Mad Rush a long way back. So is Bower and Sailor Gear. Behind them are Newport and Zipping, and then Gyno, Ice Chariot, and Laturio last. They're up towards the turn. Alessandra Volta had the lead, 2 lengths to Septimus, 2 lengths to Honolulu. Boundless Boundless running on, got up into fourth, followed by Moatees running on the outside. Barbaricus under pressure, Viewed coming with a run. Profound Beauty getting to the outside from Baravay, and then Red Lord and Gyno as they sweep to the turn. Honolulu dropped down right out quickly, and Septimus has the lead. Boundless is coming after him. Melisandre Revolta's beaten off. Viewed running on, Profound Beauty and Gyno down the outside. Moatees putting in his run. Boundless hit the lead at the 400 metres. Viewed dashed to the front now. Viewed raced away from them from Moatees. Here's Profound Beauty running home. Bowers coming down the outside, and Sailor Gear. Viewed is clear though. 200 metres to go. Bauer ran to second. Sailor Gear coming home hard. Viewed in front. Bauer's a big danger. Viewed by a neck. Bauer's getting there. Viewed holding on. Bauer dives. Viewed a nose for Bauer, I think. 2 lengths away. Sailor Gear might have got the third from Master O'Reilly. Photos all round. Then Profound Beauty and Moatees. Further back in the field is Zipping, followed in by Mad Russ and Newport. Then Nom d'Azur, Baravay, Gyno, Boundless, followed by Red Lord, Laturio, Ice Chariot. Septimus tied very badly. He's back there with Prize Lady, Barbaricus, Alessandra Volta, and Honolulu has just walked over the line. It's under pressure. Viewed coming with a run. Profound Beauty getting to the outside from Baravay, and then Red Lord and Gyno as they sweep to the turn. Honolulu dropped out right out quickly, and Septimus has the lead. Boundless is coming after him. Alessandra Volta's beaten off. Viewed running on. Profound Beauty and Gyno down the outside. Moatees putting in his run. Boundless hit the lead at the 400 metres. Viewed dashed to the front now. Viewed raced away from them from Moatees. Here's Profound Beauty running home. Bowers coming down the outside, and Sailor Gear. Viewed is clear though. 200 metres to go. Bauer ran to second. Sailor Gear coming home hard. Viewed in front. Bauer's a big danger. Viewed by a neck. Bauer's getting there. Viewed holding on. Bauer dives. Viewed a nose to Bauer, I think. 2 lengths away, Sailor Gear might have got the third from Master O'Reilly. Photos all round. Then Profound Beauty and Moatees.
When Bart Cummings won his first Melbourne Cup, Bill Collins famously said, dead heat in the Melbourne Cup. This is so close. Has Viewed. Blake Shin gave him a big kick. Away he went, and look, Blake's not sure. We're not sure. Bauer has got there, and I reckon Bart has won 12. He has won his 12th Melbourne Cup. He's 81 next Friday. It's one of the richest stories we've ever seen in the race's history. 50 years ago
on the horse. An amazing performance. Blake Shin, the youngest jockey to win a Scobie Breesley medal for the best in Victoria, has got up. He was born in the...
I'm going to cry, look. It's something I dream about, and Mr Cummings and Reg Fleming and Joel Grester do a magnificent job down in this Melbourne stables, and full credit to them. They had faith in me. I stuck by him. Thanks for Stephen Arnold. He cried. My family at home. My stepdad, he got me to where I am today, and my mates Phil and Tone, they'll be watching. They'll be just proud as punch, and this is all for them guys, so thank you.
From an emotional Blake Shin to an emotional Bart Cummings. A Cummings dozen. That's got a nice ring to it, Bart.
Yeah, well, there's a Breakers dozen coming up, isn't there, next year? Always look ahead, boys.
What's the emotion like for you just at the moment as you create even more history in this race?
It's nice to win in a race like this. You know, it's a race that everyone in Australia likes to win, particularly my owners. It's the same as everyone else, I suppose. That's good.
Is it emotional?
Chin there, he's come back to scale with his fist raised. There are the totes for you. $41 in New South Wales and $12 the play. $6.90 Bauer, $8.10 for Sailor Gear. And that is the way they finished in the 2008 Melbourne Cup.
Of them, trifecta here in Victoria, 22,000. The first four, best part of 600,000, 589. My eyesight's not that good. Similar to lies.
You've just achieved every jockey's dream.
Yeah, I haven't realised it yet. It sort of hasn't sunk in, but what a thrill coming back to scale knowing I was a winner. I just...
Real at the moment, Blake, but your passage throughout the race, you probably couldn't have been happier.
No, I couldn't have been happier. Look, it's important to get this horse to settle because he's a hard-going horse and a bold striding horse, and it was important to get him in a good rhythm, and the speed was genuine throughout. And I was very confident a long way out at the 1,000. I had a lap full of horse. I was able to move when I would like to, and I got there way too early, but he was travelling that strong. And when I pushed the button, he had a very good turn of foot, especially on this good ground, which he's renowned for a heavy track. But geez, the master Bart Cummings, you just can't underestimate him.
From Brett Preble, Sailor Girl, great run.
Super run, he is very strong. He just pulled a little bit mid-race. Banked up coming to home turn. If I could have sort of improved my race from the home turn, no doubt he would have won the race, but I just couldn't get out. When he got out, he really sprinted hard and strong the line. He ran 3,200 metres out strong. He's a proper stayer.
Glenn Boss, Profound Beauty.
Yeah, had the perfect run, you know. I actually tracked the winner the whole race, and I had his measure by a long way before we straightened up, but when I asked her to extend, she really felt the ground. And especially over the last furlong, she really felt the ground and didn't really want to stretch out, but I've got no doubt.
Vlad Jurek, Master O'Reilly.
Had a beautiful run, tracked up around the corner, just needed an out, and we got held up probably for 100 metres too long, and the bird had flown, he flashed late and hit the line full of running, and if we had had a little bit of luck from the 600 to the 400, I'm pretty sure he would have gone pretty close, so a bit disappointing, but the horse went great.
Damien Oliver, Mad Rush.
Yeah, he didn't quite stay the trip today. I moved into the race nicely on the turn, but when Bauer made his run, he kept going, and my bloke came to the sort of end of his run at about just outside the 200-metre mark.
Danny Nikolic, Zipping.
He ran terrific. Between the 1,000 metres and the half mile, I ran into all sorts of trouble behind Gallopin when it dropped back really quickly. I tried to ride for luck and try and give him the shortest way home, having a query at the 2 mile, and he lost all momentum, probably lost 5 lengths there. He's got home and run 9th and probably run the best sectionals of the race. He was very unlucky.
Race today.
Johnny Murtagh, Septimus.
Might not be the right horse for the race, really. You know, everybody says you need a bit of speed over here. He got into a nice position after going down the straight. I thought I had a nice position. We were going a nice even clip all the way, but when we turned into the straight, it went by me as if it was stopped.
Now, rarely is there a Melbourne Cup without controversy, and the jockeys of the 3 Aidan O'Brien horses, Septimus, Alessandra Volta and Honolulu, have been grilled by stewards over their riding tactics. We'll have more.
Follow the Cup's King have been rewarded again. Bart's followers have made a bucket of money, as have the...
Kamani, I feel very bit sorry for him, but it's great to see the Aussies succeed. They were a close finish, and I really thought it might have been a dead heat.
You've suddenly realised that Bart Cummings won his 12th Melbourne Cup with Blake Shin, and that yellow flower in his lapel must have had a lot of pollen in it, Steve, because that hay fever was playing up ferociously on Tuesday. Got a few sniffles there, Bart.
Yes, has had happened a couple of times now in recent years, hasn't it, with Bart, but look, his record is extraordinary. I think it's interesting to look not so much at his number of runners, firstly, is to look at the number of years that he's had a runner in the Melbourne Cup, which is 41, so he's batting 12 from 41, not much worse than 1 in 3. He's 12 from 37 since he won it with light fingers. I think if you deleted a couple of the years when he had horses who simply had no chance, if we treat this race as a major, as they would in the golf, he's had 52 of his 80 runners run top 10. He's had 32 of the 80 run top 6, 21 of the 80 run 1, 2, 3. And of course, to win it 12 times, a strike rate of not much worse than 1 in 3. It is 1 in 3 since he first won it with light fingers. And to me, and with the greatest respect to the families of Colin Hayes and Tommy Smith, he has no peer.
Unbelievable performance, Rich.
It's a big rap, isn't it? He's a marvel, and
by a neck. Bauer's getting there. Feud holding on. Bauer dives. Feud a nose to Bauer, I think.
Yeah, but you've proven yesterday that the Australian horse can win a Melbourne Cup. I think 7 of the first 10 home were Australian horses.
Great, isn't it?
It's terrific.
Yeah, I would say.
Are you going to give us a number of how many international horses should run in a Melbourne Cup? I know you don't mind the competition. Your point's always been about how many come.
Well, the Japanese system is that they choose one from the British Isles, one from Europe, one from Asia Pacific area, and maybe one from America, but they never come anyway. They have no hope if they did, I don't think. But anyway, the thing is, that's about 4, 5 maximum. On that basis...
Reinvented the Melbourne Cup by accepting international competition?
Oh, well, it's made it international, providing the Aussies can get a run in it. It is our race, really. It's not for latecomers.
Approach to international competition.
Look, it's one area I disagree with Bart because, as I've said so many times, for most other parts of the world, all of these trips are subsidised. Here it's come and take your chances. And I think it's pretty good. Look, let's face it, Dermot's the only bloke that's won it, the only European. He's won it twice. We keep talking about this paranoia. I think this year they didn't dominate the number of runners. I think it's fair enough. It's open slather. I think it's good to see. It hasn't stopped Bart winning it yet again. So I don't think it's a problem. Let it go as it.
Talk about the those who did go around. 3 from Coolmore, Aidan O'Brien's team. Now, did they get this totally wrong? Well, here's vision from the race. As we look at the horse on the outsides, Alessandra Volta, inside it Honolulu, and Septimus went off the fence, all moving forward. Well, Aidan O'Brien was on record saying that was the plan, but was the plan right? And did they take the plan to an nth degree, which basically blew them apart, Steve?
Well, I was a little surprised that all 3 of them were up there, but a lot of the sectionals that have been published in the paper are wrong, and they were going quickly, but they weren't going ridiculously quickly. Show me here. Now, they're only just going at normal pace out of the straight here for a cup. Now, from in the back straight to about the 600, they were just running 13s. They ran 140.8 for the first mile, which is fairly quick for a 2-mile race, but it's not suicidal. The tactics weren't the issue for me. The issue was they bought wet trackers. Septimus and Honolulu are wet trackers, and Alessandra Volta wasn't good enough. That's the bottom line. They bought the wrong horses.
Well, I think you're only a naive person to think that they hadn't discussed team riding, they hadn't discussed tactics. They obviously went out because what the vision we saw in the 2 weeks leading up to the Melbourne Cup was exactly what we saw in the race. The 3 of them there all together. One was,
other runner.
No, I'm saying you're supposed to go out there individually to try and win. Were they doing that? I think you're only a naive punter to say they weren't. They were going out there to try and help Septimus. That was clearly their intent, that Septimus would get the sub.
Brian, they were asking whether the tactics used on their horses gave their horse the best possible chance to win or obtain the best possible position. Aidan clearly said, we got it wrong.
Well, I think that was a stupid question.
Why was it?
And I think that Terry Bailey was grandstanding and puffing his chest out, and I think it was embarrassing. I don't know why he called him back. They decided their tactics were to go forward. Well, do you think your tactics gave the horse every chance? What are you going to say? Of course we did.
Steve,
that's what we thought.
I'm a punter, I bet, every day of the week. I put my faith in Ray Murray, I put my faith in Terry Bailey down in Victoria. The horses finished 18th, and then they were the last 2 to finish 20th, and the other one, well, I'm not sure if it's finished yet, if it's pulled up yet. If he didn't ask him questions, I would have been going straight to Michael Duffy and saying, listen, I want Terry Bailey ousted. If he didn't call Aidan O'Brien back, and if Aidan O'Brien doesn't... Look, I want the internationals here, and I hope they come again. But if you don't like the way that our tracks are set up, and if you don't like the way that the stewards run it, stay at home. Leave us alone and forget about your whinging.
Here's what he said, dear. I was promised safe ground when I came out.
It was safe, Aidan.
But the ground today was like concrete. It was firm. Yes, it was firm. No doubt the track dried out quicker than even Mick Goody would have liked. Mind you, View's best form has been on soft ground. He won the Cup.
Ditto say Laguerre, the 3rd place getter.
Exactly.
Yep. And for the good of racing, have the ground safe, give everybody a chance. Well, can we just put Aidan into some perspective here as well? He has won 22 Group 1 races this year. He's a pretty good trainer. He's trained winners around the world. He just got the Cup wrong, and it will sit badly in his head until he gets it right.
Most definitely.
Neck, Bauer's getting there. Viewed holding on. Bauer dives. View to nose to Bauer, I think. 2 lengths away, Sailor Gear.
Well, I tell you what, Blake, the adrenaline would have been pumping there as you raced to the lead at the 200-metre mark, mate.
Yeah, it was, Graham. At the 200, I started to think, oh, no, I went too early and I could sense Bauer coming. But, you know, to my horse's credit, the more I asked of him, the more he responded. And I just felt Bauer's run had probably peaked about 50 out. And my horse kept his momentum going and got the bob, which thankfully did.
Did you think it won?
Honestly, deep down, I thought he did. I thought he may have just got there, but I looked to the infield and they had the camera on Bauer, so, you know, my heart dropped. My heart sunk.
Now, Blake, there's been, you know, a lot of...
For a 3,200-metre race, the speed was very quick.
Well, I suppose it's a bit of an indictment on our horses then, because, you know, the gallop that they went at was very inducive to running a record time, and they never got anywhere near it.
Alf, I think the problem that everyone's got with it, I think it's we can understand 1 or maybe even 2 of them going along, but the whole 3 of them. The whole 3 of them?
Oh, well, yeah, look, the stewards were worried. I'll tell you what the stewards were worried, because I quizzed Terry Bailey. They were concerned about and they questioned them about team tactics.
That's not team tactics, that's destruction.
Well, I asked Terry Bailey, I said, what's the difference between tactics and team riding? And he said, well, when certain horses are ridden to the advantage of other horses, he said that's team riding, and that's what we wanted to clarify, and they were satisfied that there wasn't team riding.
There's no team riding there. It was just, it'd be a complete embarrassment for everyone, I think, the way that ended up. I can imagine, I can see one of them going forward and rolling along, or even two of them, but for the whole three of them to self-destruct like that, they went stupid. Yeah. You know, you'd think they'd put one of the stayers out the back. I don't know. It's easy to say now.
So, surely Coolmore, World, like, obviously, you know, surely they can't get it that wrong then.
Well, were they too cocky? Well, that's right. Were they too cocky? Did they think they would just outstay them, the whole three horses?
They didn't show enough respect for the race and for the history of that race that no one can overwhelm that race. And they tried to overwhelm it. They tried to make it such a staying test that the superior horses would just keep going and all the poor Australian horses would drop off.
It won't happen.
It did not work that way.
We have not paid tribute to Bart.
No, exactly.
And we must.
No. He's an absolute freak.
He is.
Hey, you just got to shake your head and say, he's a freak.
Yes.
He's a freak.
He got that bronze statue of him, and they should spray it with 24-carat gold. Fair dinkum.
Yeah. And guys, I tell you what, we must pay.
The filly Samantha Miss is primed for tomorrow's Group 1 VRC Oaks, as the trainer Chris Lee says Samantha Miss has recovered well from the Cox Plate, where she finished a credible third.
Come through it very good because of the slow tempo early. It wasn't a gut-busting run. She's had 12 days to get over that to come to the Oaks. I think it's the right preparation for her.
Favourite at this stage, the rest of them. Glow Lamp, $25. Rocher, the Wakeful winner, $16. Oval Affair, 20. To Boogie Woogie, 20. Arms Wide Open, 23. Think Money, one of Bart Cummings' two runners. Fadato Tan Shanam, $8 for. Samantha Miss at this stage, $2.50.
Okay. Apparently bet $1.85, and as soon as they put up that $1.85, they were knocked off their stands. The tote odds will start to come down. $2.20, you'll see a big bet from someone, one of the bookmakers, throwing something on that if it's going to hold up getting closer to start time with me to say you've got to think that there won't be a great deal of speed. Now that can play against Hugh Bowman with Samantha Miss as Arms Wide Opens moves into the barrier stalls because she's going to need clear galloping room at the right time, and that's up to Hugh to do that.
I'm sure Hugh will be.
For the Crown Oaks, they're set. Off they go. Favourite jumped okay. Samantha Miss, Perkagusta a little slow. Rubles pinged out. Glow Lamp, Lunar Lights, Oval Affair away quickly in the early stages. Good pace early. Rocher going over. Miss Garlady trying to slot in. She'll be about 4 wide. They're about to negotiate the bottom turn, and Samantha Miss is running about 7th or 8th. Where now Oval Affair runs to the lead. Mike Rubles, Estee, and they're followed by Rocher about 6 off the leader. Then Arms Wide Open. Samantha Miss is on her outside. A length and a half. Camilsey to Boogie Woogie. 2 lengths away. Then LA Wonder and taking off round the outside. Expect to win from Think Money. Then Perkagusta and Jean de Coeur at the 800. And Oval Affair's going to corner narrowly. She's swinging down towards the turn with Miss Scarlatti and Glow Lamp in close attendance. Then Lunar Lights a stay wide out from Rocher. The field bunching right up. Rubles down on the inside. Out wider then Samantha Miss. Bowman's got her into the clear. She's about 5 lengths off the leader. She's poised for her run. Rocher taking off to try and get out after these leaders. It's Oval Affair, Miss Scarlatti and Glow Lamp. Rocher running on, and Miss now on the outside. Samantha Miss is starting to hit her straps, and she's joined in quickly at the 300 metres now. And Samantha Miss dashed to the lead, drew a length and a half in front of Miss Scarlatti, Rocher and Glow Lamp. But it's Samantha Miss, the Sydney Princess, well clear, racing away from them. The favourite has it in the bag, and Samantha Miss scored in the Oaks by 3 lengths to Miss Scarlatti. LA Wonder might have got up and got third from Rocher and Thick Money, a photo all round for that placing. And then Glow Lamp, and back behind those to finish in the race are Lunar Lights, Perkagusta to Boogie Woogie, and then Arms Wide Open. Next in was Camilsey, Oval Affair, Jean de Coeur is well back with Rubles. Towards the end of the field here, Expect to Win and to Stay. One of the last after a very hard run, but it's Oval Affair, Miss Scarlatti and Glow Lamp. Rocher running on, and Miss now on the outside. Samantha Miss is starting to hit her straps, and she's joined in quickly at the 300 metres now. And Samantha Miss dashed to the lead, drew a length and a half in front of Miss Scarlatti, Rocher and Glow Lamp. But it's Samantha Miss, the Sydney Princess, well clear, racing away from them. The favourite has it in the bag, and Samantha Miss scored in the Oaks by 3 lengths to Miss Scarlatti. LA Wonder might have got up and got third from Rocher and Think Money, a photo. Hard run, but the favourite has delivered. Finally, a short one has got home in one of the big ones of the spring.
Greg spot on. A 40-to-1 winner won the Caulfield Cup, 10-to-1 winner won the Cox Plate, 100-to-1 the Derby, 40-to-1 the Melbourne Cup. And the odds on he wins the Oaks. It's been a long time coming.
Pigeon pair, Bruce, aren't they? And Huey, the Crown Oaks, the Group 1. Just how good is Samantha Miss?
Oh, she's the best mare I've ridden, or filly, and she just keeps stepping up to the plate. She deserves this. She is the best filly in Australia, and it's great for her to win over this distance.
Relieved, because this has been a long time in the making.
Yeah, it is relief, Peter. You know, always thought she was an Oaks filly. She was quite brilliant early this preparation, so you start to wonder whether she can convert that to 2,500. But she settled lovely for Hugh today, and was always confident when he got her plenty of racing room from the 600 onwards.
You must have been real.
Good job by her. And the 2 Bart Cummings run as well. He had Marjorie placed, and he's had LA Wonder placed this time around. And I think Money also running into 4th placing as you...
Of course, she was a Group 1 winner already, Princess Series in Sydney, but she is a future star of Australian racing. Well, she already is a star.
There's no doubt about that. Huey Bowman hasn't been beaten on her since she ran second in the size produce behind Sebring. Of course, she won the Champagne, and then this year as a 3-year-old, well, she's been awesome. As you said, the Silver Shadow, flooded by the Furious, the T-Rose, the Flight Stakes. Glenn Boss rode her when she ran 3rd in the Cox Plate. Huey Bowman back on board. Chris Lee's thumbs up. And Ronnie Krogan, he's getting on in years, Ronnie. He wasn't there on the day. He said, I spoke to him during the week, and he said, mate, you can't see. He said, it's too many people. He said, I'm in a wheelchair. He said he sat at home, enjoyed it, and he was just so proud.
Steve, one of the press rang Ronnie soon after the race, and he said, did you have a bet? He said, yeah, I had 200 on it. He said, is that 200,000? And he probably would have.
No.
Of course he would have.
Got a little yarn from Stephen Howell there in the Age. One comment I would make, and unfortunately I couldn't see her through the week because I didn't have access to the mounting yard, but a lot of good judges said they couldn't believe how fantastic she looked, Samantha Miss, at this stage of her preparation.
Like a big bloke compared to the other girls walking around that yard. She just stood out.
From day one she stood out, Bruce, like that. And the thrill, isn't it, Ronnie? And he told us on TVN the week before when Visa Lisa won, and he said, Chris told him it's a moral on Thursday. And it was, Ronnie, well done.
And he paid more for one at the sales last year. It's called Samantha's Charm. If there's anywhere near as good as Samantha Miss, Ronnie and Chris, you'll be in for a great week. And we've got to thank Chris.
Missed all the interference.
He made no mistakes.
No mistakes
and that's what you've got to do on those horses that are dominant.
He rode it beautifully to the 700. He says, well, you can cover ground now and still win. Of course. You've had your rest.
He just made no errors. It didn't put her in a position where another horse could spoil her chances or interfere with her. So that's a perfect ride on a dominant filly. She was dominant. She's raced away from here. Miss Scarlatti sat up on the pace and battled on really well, a filly in her very first preparation. So I think she's got a future ahead of her. A couple more behind, but then it's hard to read from there on back, I think.
And what are we saying about... I'm not having a go, but the Sydney horses did dominate that carnival.
My trainers. All AJC trainers.
Right, leave us alone, would you?
Races of the day. This is the Group 1 Patnack Farm Classic. There he is, the cat, the Apache cat. And as you can see, he's just such an eye-catching horse. And he has the Group 1 record to go with it, of course, coming off 5 straight Group 1s.
Yes, he's been a remarkable horse and superbly that he's at his most effective up to 1,400 metres, and he's in fact unbeaten in his past 10 runs up to 1,400 metres, and is happening here on track with the bookmakers. And if you're an Apache Cat fan, you better jump in a helicopter and get to Flemington. He's $1.95 on track. They put up $1.65 out to $1.95, and they're betting to 104%, which out to $1.95, and they're betting to 104%, which I'd say is almost unprecedented. Even money on track here, Apache Cat. Swick Spect 21 into 17. They can't lay Apache Cat extraordinarily. $1.65 out to $2 with a market at 104%.
Now Tramontana, Diplomatic Force about to join them. Keen Commander, Turfontaine. Going for his 6th straight Group 1. Still ready. Set. Yep. Racing out, and Keen Commander jumped well with Apache Cat on the outside. Apache Cat just eased in behind Keen Commander so he can go where he likes. Apache Cat's heading over towards the inside. They all stay well away from the rail, and Monet Rules and Belmur jump well. Apache Cat right up there with the lead, and Keen Commander on the outside. Again, Turfontaine about the middle of the field. Coming along now, about 600 left to go, and Apache Cat is up in the leading division. Keen Commander just shading him on the outside. Monet Rules and Belmur handy down on the inside. Then came Sunburnt Land. He's tracking up right behind Apache Cat, and then Great as Great and Tramontana, followed by Turfontaine. Coming past the 400-metre mark now. Gee, the favourite's gone. Apache Cat under the whip, and he's battling only. Keen Commander tackled by Sunburnt Land and Belmur on the inside. Inside the 200 metres, Sunburnt Land goes to the lead. Here comes Swick and Turfontaine. They're flashing home. Sunburnt Land in front. But Bart's going to do it again. Swick raced up on the outside, and Swick has got up to win it by Nick to Turfontaine. Father-son Quinella. Sunburnt Land has run third. Then Tramontana, Triple Honour, Diplomatic Force. Apache Cat, well, he was gone a long, long way out. Then Keen Commander, Monet Rules. Belmur dropped out, and back at the tail of the field. Great is Great.
Well, we didn't expect that, did we? I mean, Pat told us about the big betting move for Swick. 21s into 16s, a lot shorter on the tote. Well, Michael Rod and Bart Cummings, they did it with Moatees on the first day. Bart's won his 251st Group 1. I mean, if you say it...
How do you describe this man? They can run bad the first day and they come out and win the top ones on the second time out.
No, that's right. Oh, this old horse, he deserves a win like this. He's always been knocking on the door, let's see, and...
51 Group 1 wins. That's got a nice number to it, Bart.
On the roll again now. Took a while to get to the 250, but if we get another 100, I'll be happy.
Yeah, there's no stopping you now.
For me to Sandown at record time, but this is the track he likes, when there's plenty of speed on, and the ideal condition today with plenty of space. Small field where he could get cracking out in the middle, and well, the rest is history.
It was gone a long, long way out. Then
so Swick takes out the Patnack Farm Classic, the first of the Group 1s on the final day of the Flemington Cup Carnival. 251st Group 1 winner for Bart Cummings. He's quite amazing.
Well, father beats son. Bart beats Anthony, and they all beat Apache Cat. More on him shortly, but Swick finally cracks it in a Group 1 up the straight. Sunburnt Lad had its chance for mine. You just can't believe Bart, can you? What a way to cap his week, Steve. Terrific.
Oh, extraordinary performance, terrific ride from Michael Rod too. I was just all a bit confused about this race. They didn't go out hard for a straight race, 36 first 600, and yet Swick comes from last and picks them up. Turfontaine, I think, appreciating probably the fire out of the ground at this stage of the day. Triple Honour, I guess, was okay after going down on his nose at the start. Sunburnt Land, reasonable. And Apache Cat.
Slow time.
Slow time, yeah, 111. I guess that man, Bart, again, the numbers are just amazing, aren't they? We talk about the Cup, well, 9 Newmarket, 7 Lightnings and 8 versions of whatever this is now.
This is the same horse that got beat 7 lengths 7 days earlier.
Yeah, different sort of race, though. Drew the wrong spot, never really travelling. You know, different race when they... It happens a lot, you see, in these weight for age sprint races later in the week. Horses who fail in the handicap in the bigger field, not getting into the right spot, turn it around and run much better. And, I mean, every time.
Steve, to Greg Arell this morning, the latest on Apache Cat remains a mystery to Greg. Scoped and vetted yesterday, nothing. The same this morning, nothing. He says, look, what we're going to do, we'll go to Perth, run in the winter bottom, all going well. If he runs well there, Hong Kong's still an option, given suitable travel arrangements. He said he's flabbergasted. Of course, he's never been in that situation before with the horse because he's never let him down.
No, it's hard to explain, isn't it? Particularly if the vet tests are clear. Look, he's had a fair time off the scene. Whether he was just very rusty, needed a gallop, whether he's a couple of kilos, you know, over his fighting weight, whether that track it still had a bit of give middle of the day, whether that didn't suit him, I don't know. But
were you surprised? Daylight, and I simply thought that Apache Cat, just being fresh, over-raced that a little bit and looked very, very keen on the bridle. On coming back to scale and the vets examined him, he did have a slower recovery rate than normal, but Greg Urell's taken it on board to let the stewards know if anything untoward takes place today and tomorrow. But yeah, look, very disappointing. It's just a matter of back to the drawing board with Apache Cat. And like I alluded to, he's a winner over 1,400 metres. It means that he's not a weak horse, and he finished off very strongly indeed. And take nothing away from Sunburnt Land, probably got there a little sooner, and probably taking into consideration they're all looking out for Apache Cat more so than what they perhaps should have been.
I have to say, look, I looked at Apache Cat and I was just looking at him and thinking, yeah, you look very well. Might look a bit too well. And that can happen to any trainer, particularly with very good horses, because, you know, as they get older, you can not change anything and suddenly they're doing a little bit better. It's harder for them to get the weight off. He looked just a little underdone. That's what he raced like. A horse that was mad fresh. He jumped out, he was grabbing the bit, he was almost over-racing inside Keen Commander. Well, any horse that can over-race behind Keen Commander is going flat because he is quick, Keen Commander, and he just looked to blow up like a horse that needed the run, and he probably improve a lot with it. And, you know...
I'm finding it hard to read the race, and like they run 1:11. It's slow time.
Oh, I can't work out. I can't ever catch Swick. I just can't catch him. He's just too good for me.
He looked like getting any easier tomorrow, with the Emirates Stakes one of the most open in recent history. For all the late...
I cry. We'll try and help Bank Robber. There's been some money there, $5.50 into $5.25 and then into $5. So now equal favourite with All Silent. Sea Battle's racing very, very, very well for Mark Kavanagh at $5.50. Mimi LeBrock at $9. Sniper's Bullet, $10 chance there.
It's a pretty open race this year. No real standout performers, although there are plenty.
Here in the Group 1 Emirates. On track, we'll have a look at the bookmakers' odds for you as the totes come up on screen. We're about 12 minutes away from this Group 1 race. Mentality's 25 to 1. Nicanero 40 to 1. Number 5 here in this Group 1 is Sea Battle. $5.50 out to $7. Sniper's Bullet 11. Bank Robber 7. Royal Discretion 20 to 1. Valedictum 16. All Silent 5 out to 6. Cargo Cult is 50 to 1. We'll come...
Colt for Jared McLean was to $10 and others seeming to get out. All Silent currently $6.50. Mimi LeBrock around $8.50. Serious Speed $21. But Orange County so far the one that is getting supported. Sea Battle at $7.50 and Bank Robber also just getting out to that $7.50 quote.
Yeah, I think punters working on the theory that this, you know, cushion in the ground's probably a plus for Orange County, and he's the one they've...
For the last of the Group 1, the Emirates, and they're off. And the Conquering jump well down on the inside. Valedictum snagged back, and so was Sea Battle, and Sniper's Bullet is going back today. Conquering from Dealer Principal, Mimi LeBrock, and Bank Robber is going on the outside. In behind them then came Mr. Baritone, Royal Discretion, Orange County going forward wide, and then All Silent. They're followed by Mentality, caught 3 wide, Malcolm, and it's an uncontested lead. 2 at the 1,000 metres, a length and a half in front of Bank Robber, Dealer Principal, Orange County deep out, and Mimi LeBrock in the middle. 1.5, Mr. Baritone, Royal Discretion, handy to these. Then came All Silent as they go down towards the home turn. Then came Nicanero and Mentality as they come round the turn, being followed by Malcolm well back on the fence, and so too Valedictum, being trailed then by Sniper's Bullet, Serious Speed, Cargo Cult. They've bunched, and Sea Battle at the end of the field. Conquering around the home turn, a length and a half in front of Bank Robber, Dealer Principal, Mimi LeBrock, and in the grey Orange County. Malcolm getting up on the inside, All Silent getting over heels. Nicanero coming down the outside, Conquering tackle by Bank Robber, Mimi LeBrock. All Silent starting to run on Nicanero, and Sea Battle the widest runner. Bank Robber hit the lead at the 200. All Silent comes out after him and claims him very quickly. Sea Battle running on, but it's All Silent streaking away from them. All Silent open right up for Dwayne Dunn and won it by 3 lengths to Sea Battle. Mimi LeBrock 3rd. Bank Robber ran 4th, and then Dealer Principal. They're trailed further back by Conquering, and then Sniper's Bullet. Valedictum was the next one over, and further back Mr. Baritone. They were followed in by Royal Discretion, a long break to Mentality, Serious Speed, and then Cargo Cult, and Orange County after a hard run is last in, and he has just raced away All Silent for a high deep in his last of all. Conquering the leader, and it's an uncontested lead. 2 at the 1,000 metres, a length and a half in front of Bank Robber, Dealer Principal for the field. Conquering around the home turn, a length and a half in front of Bank Robber, Dealer Principal, Mimi LeBrock, and then the grey Orange County. Malcolm getting up on the inside, All Silent getting over heels. Nicanero coming down the outside, Conquering tackle by Bank Robber, Mimi LeBrock. All Silent starting to run on Nicanero, and Sea Battle the widest runner. Bank Robber hit the lead at the 200. All Silent comes out after him and claims him very quickly. Sea Battle running on, but it's All Silent streaking away from them. All Silent open right up for Dwayne Dunn and won it by 3 lengths to Sea Battle. Mimi LeBrock 3rd. Bank Robber ran 4th, and then Dealer Principal. They trailed further back Mr. Baritone. They were followed in by... and he has just raced away All Silent for a highly impressive win.
Well, he's well and truly out of Big Sister's shadow there. Private Steer. He's now a Group 1 winner. All...
impressive win.
Well, he's put the double together, has Graham Begg with All Silent. He won for Ollie on the final race on Derby Day, and Dwayne Dunn got the ride. Ollie was suspended from that meeting on Sirmione and the McKinnon, and absolutely bolted in All Silent. Sea Battle.
The horse accelerated, but when he hit him with the stick, you just see him duck back to the fence. There's Graham Begg and his wife Sue. They're absolutely ecstatic. That is fantastic.
Good stuff. What a
Oliver did the other day, Graham Begg. What a moment. He brained them.
Yeah, no, he really let down strong today, and you know, he had a pretty light week after running last Saturday, and like that was his gallop for today's race, and we didn't have to do much more with him, and he still had a bit of a bounce in his step, and his coat had just come on that little bit more. You know, had a great week down at Markdale, and the boys have been very hospitable to us and looked after us well.
How long ago did you set him for this race, Graham?
We set him for this race a good 4 months ago. We thought this was our target, and it's all worked out very well.
And you've got the nice gate too.
And another good result for them, and there are the Inglis Interim, 6.20 and 2.60 for the winner.
Pretty similar across the board there. First four All Silent. Probably join a list of 2 or 3 others as the most emphatic Group 1 winner of the spring. I think probably alongside Who Begot You, of course, and the Guineas, who was quite emphatic Group 1 wins, and All Silent yesterday, turn of foot and blew a pretty quality lineup away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third, Back Robber ran fourth, and then Dealer Principle. They trailed further
Well,
back.
dominant performance, outstanding finishing sectionals there by All Silent. The least experienced horse in the race with Dealer Principle gave them a lesson. Sea Battle excellent, wide, Mimi LeBrock honest again. Stewards out of the race, Serious Speed had been galloped on the off hind leg. Royal Discretion pulled up lame in the off hind leg. Orange County at the race wide, we know that, but I don't think there's many excuses here, Steve.
No, certainly not, Bruce. Royal Discretion lame for the second week in a row. All Silent devastating. Tremendous performance last Saturday, of course, when he drew inside and Ollie had the ride. And yesterday, Graham, I'm sure you probably would have been pretty comfortable coming to the turn where he was posse.
Yeah, look, I was pretty comfortable when he drew 4 gate on Thursday. I thought, well, at least you'll be able to ride him very conservatively and give him a nice run. And coming to the turn, we were pretty happy. Just needed to get the out. I would say at the moment, every likelihood he'll probably go to the paddock. You know, you can only go to the well so many times. And it's all about, you know, setting him up for next year. And as you said, the horse is very lightly raced. That was his 11th start yesterday. And we think, you know, we can go to another level next year.
The Doncaster perhaps, Graham?
Yeah, we'll see that. And hopefully we'll be back here next spring.
Next spring, Graham, the perfect distance, 2040?
Well, you never know. Like, a few jockeys have ridden him in the past and have got off and said, this horse will run 2,000 metres, so you never know. We just might chance our arm by then.
Well, I wonder if a couple of things yesterday. You win a Group 1 handicap with 53.5. How important is it when you get a horse like this to be able to get into the Group 1 handicap with that sort of weight range? And how highly do we regard him, bearing in mind he's won a handicap with a relatively low weight?
Well, number one, if he didn't win the start before, on the first Saturday, he wouldn't have got a run yesterday because he didn't have high enough rating. So
you're playing a dicey game there.
It was, actually. Even though he'd been a Group 2 winner, he won the Ajax Stakes, and he only did that at his 5th start in a race. So, you know, it was pretty dicey, but he got in the race. His rating was up high enough to get in the race yesterday.
What were you thinking here? What's Damien doing?
Oh, look, he was praying, actually. No, but that was another thing too, because that's why guys like Damien and Dwayne, they're mature jockeys and they don't panic.
It was a brilliant ride, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
It was outstanding.
And so, where his acceleration is so valuable to take a small gap and charge through it.
Oh, that's right, and Damien wasn't over hard on the horse either. He really only just waved the whip at him, and because he had, bearing in mind, it was a month between runs, and he had to have the backup this week.
So what level does he get to, hopefully in 6 months or next spring?
Well, I reckon he can go right to the top.
He's already there. He's a Group 1 winner, though. Twice with him, once with Palazzo de Crystal. Only 2 horses you brought, and you went home unbeaten. Only trainer who can say that for the week.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it was a big week for us, actually. And
100 metres, Mark, until that gap came.
Yeah, true, Graham. He was following the right horse in Mimi LeBrock, and it really did travel beautifully. And the fact of the matter, just talking about it with Blake, the tempo wasn't all that fast. It wasn't perhaps as fast as what we thought or anticipated it was going to be. But Dwayne was able to get out there. The horse changed stride, wanted to get in a little bit over the concluding stages, but very, very explosive. And, you know, it's important to realise that's only that horse's 11th start in a race. Admittedly, he's no spring chicken. But the fact that he was so explosive over the concluding stages, it was very, very good indeed. A 5-year-old exactly. But Sea Battle, he went back and ran on very, very well. I thought his effort was very solid, and he's been wonderful, you know, throughout his entire campaign this spring. And Blake, Bank Robber, I didn't think he disgraced himself.
No, Alf, I thought Bank Robber ran a courageous race. I thought for the tempo they went, I expected him to sprint a little bit quicker, but to his credit, he stuck to his guns and fought the race out very strongly, and I was happy enough with his run.
And we
that was something that I agree with you on. The tempo of that race, Bank Robber stuck on well, Mimi LeBrock stuck on well, they were right on top of the speed. OK, Sea Battle came home nicely, but that's only a testament to All Silence turn of foot. To be able to produce that sort of explosive acceleration when they're probably splitting fairly quickly the last 400 metres is a testament to a horse with a lot of talent. And you'll notice here, as he comes up outside Mimi LeBrock here, he's going to work past her, and he's just going to, you know, work to the lead. And you'll watch, he changes onto his Melbourne leg. And you'll see it quite plainly. I think it's about here somewhere. Bang. Right? When he gets onto his Melbourne leg, away he goes. I reckon he's a natural, the Melbourne way of going.
Jeez, he's a... how good is he? That's the question. Like we say, it's only his 11th start. What is it, his 6th win or whatever? And... he could be real good. He could be real good. And we say he's a 5-year-old, but he wasted 18 months of his life in Hong Kong. He was laying down in a box because he didn't cope with it. He was still growing and obviously didn't settle into Hong Kong, and he had to come back and adjust to the city life again. And look, Graham and the family have done a marvellous job with this horse. A marvellous job with this horse.
Ronnie's got a nice pedigree. Do you think he's capable at Cox Plate level?
Well, who's to say he won't be? He might be just a little bit too brilliant, Alf, but although he ran the mile right out there, didn't he? And yes. We forgot to touch on his pedigree. He's a half brother to the private steer, and we know how good she was. So he has got some blood there that'll carry him through a long way.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Options for a horse with an explosive turn of speed like him. And look, you had to be in awe of that performance and that training performance as well.
Or Hong Kong, which will be very, very exciting. Just out of the race, Nicanero's, you know, started to run on quite okay. Might have just faded the last little bit, but he's in line to go to Perth again for the Railway Stakes and also
performance. And I see the winner stayed at Lee's place at Rye.
Yeah, he obviously thrived down there.
Would have started out mates rates. It would have get very expensive there at the finish, I'm tipping.
Please, Rob. I knew that was coming from you. I knew there'd have to be a punchline there.
All Silent pulls up and where he might be heading over the next couple of months.
Yes, certainly. We'll look forward to Graham Begg joining us in the morning. We're 11 minutes away from race 8 here at Flemington. The Matriarch Stakes. There's the totes on screen. We'll check the bookies odds for you too. At $1.4 million first 4 dividend. It was the biggest dividend of the season, and the biggest collect was 8.3%. Turn it into 124,000. The 2008 edition, Arapaho Miss, the Oaks winner. She's 20 to 1 on track.
By about 3 lengths or so, and Tijuana eased back early. Miss Badura out looking for the lead. Eldana Soldiva were away well. Clace up there, Bird of Fire coming over, and Tantat Delago is going to posse up just off the speed on the inside, a length and a half then to rear. Bird of Fire the leader. It's been run at a good gallop, 1,000 metres to go. She's 2 lengths Miss Badura. Eldana's had an easy run third on the inside, one Soldiva, Tantat Delago. 2 lengths Clace, Permission to Land, Arapaho Miss. Reggie next on the inside, gave the speed around about 8 lengths, and then came Bashful Girl, Renzina and Dollops. Peeling to the outside, ready to lift from Tijuana, Princess Maritza and Limani. Bird of Fire at the 600, almost a length, Miss Badura, Soldiva. Eldana just waiting behind the leader. Tantat Delago edging into it as they swing around the turn from Arclace. Arapaho Miss. Bashful Girl comes wide. Permission to Land looking for runs through. Renzina the fence and Princess Maritza right to the outside. Bird of Fire at the 400, got away about a length and a half now. Soldiva, Miss Badura. Eldana, Tantat Delago getting up on the inside of the leader. Bird of Fire still quietly ridden from Tantat Delago. Arclace running onto the Eldana. Bird of Fire from Tantat Delago at the 100. Bird of Fire just in front of Tantat Delago. Bird of Fire pulling out enough to hit it. Bird of Fire and a half hit Tantat Delago. Eldana, Reggie fourth, and then came Arclace Arapaho, Miss Bashful Girl. Behind these, Princess Maritza, and ready to lift. They made reasonable ground only out wide from Dollops, Miss Badura, Sol Diva, Renzina, Lamani, and then Permission to Land and Tijuana.
Oh, what a terrific ride by Blake Shin on Bird of Fire. She's been a fantastic mare all spring, and she gets a major award again today. She dead-headed in the English Mile at Moonee Valley last start. It was a front-running performance.
And is another group race, the Group 3, the final group race of the carnival. The Queen Elizabeth over 2,500 metres. We'll take a short break, then we'll head back to Sydney.
Well, she'd shared victory in the English Mile. She got her own deserved victory yesterday there. Tony Vassell well relieved. Strange sort of race. They basically, where they were on the home turn, 400 metres, 200 metres, that's where they finished. Nash Ruler was one of 4 yesterday suspended. He got his from that race, gets 8 meetings and misses out next Saturday, Steve.
Yeah, slow overall time, slow first half, even though Bird of Fire probably used a little bit of petrol from probably about the 1800 to the 1500, but good ride. Blake Shin, he summed it up, won the race the previous year on Hidden Strings going to the front, of course. No pace. My note to myself after the race was every horse in the race went okay, bar Miss Badura, Sol Diva, Lamani, Tijuana, who was lame, and Permission to Land. The rest of them all ran okay.
Yeah.
Graham, she always travelled well in front.
Did you think you were going to get a ticket for loitering?
I was just going a nice even tempo after no one had come and annoy me, and she was very happy. She pricked her ears, and she's a bit suspect at the trip in 2,000 metres, but I held her together for as long as I could, and you know, very gutsy and determined, and when I asked her for an effort, she produced the goods.
There was certainly no other jockey in the race that wanted to really see if you could run the 2,000 metres. But
last start, but she deserved a big race in her own name, and you know, I was glad to get that win for her.
Tantatalago ran very well, and probably, well, it was its first time at the 2,000 metres in that particular event. It didn't let anybody down apart from not winning. It ran very well. And Eldana.
Carnival Group 3, Queen Elizabeth over 2,500.
And let's have a look at, there's the totes on screen. I'll check what's happening with the bookmakers here. One Borghurst is 380 to 1. Cape Cover 550 out to 6 and back into 550. We're a minute away from the Queen Elizabeth. Been a good race on occasions. Mackay Diva, it was her first step to stardom back in 2002, and the great Might and Power won it at 6 to 1 on back in 1998. Zarveet, Gallant Guru, our Smoke and Joe, Fantastic Love, Zazman.
Just ahead of Light Vision. Chantel Shelley about to come up into the line. Now Smoking Joe, Light Vision away well. Alexander of Hales on their outside might want to go forward. Chantel Sally easing back and Borghurst off the pace as they sort out their order. Fairly tightly bunched here. It's Zavit going to a slender lead. Our Smoking Joe will slot in behind him. Alexander of Hales went on and sat outside the leader. And then Chantel Sally, who's going up on the outside after racing wide, and she's going to join the front. Patiently ridden second last, Cape Cover at the back. Inside the 800, Chantel Sally still a couple of lengths in front of Zavit to Alexander of Hales. Our Smoking Joe the fence, and then Light Vision. On the rails came Keep the Dream Alive. Mandela, Borghurst easing out, and Cape Cover is last. They're swinging for home now. Chantel Sally first into the straight. Zavit in second. Alexander of Hales poised on the outside. Our Smoking Joe ridden along. Light Vision comes home strongly. Mandela wider, and Borghurst peel right to the outside. Cape Cover trying to go for runs between them. It's Zavit at the 300 going to the lead here. Light Vision coming on the outside, and Borghurst winding up, and our Smoking Joe. It's Light Vision from Zavit. Cape Cover gets clear now. Cape Cover comes after Light Vision. Cape Cover, it's his day today. Cape Cover starts to pull away, and Cape Cover won it by 2 lengths. Light Vision second, just in front of Borghurst, then Zavit, Keep the Dream Alive. Alexander of Hales followed in then by Mandela, our Smoking Joe, and Chantel Sally.
Terrific ride by Craig Williams. Gee, has...
Borghurst, then Zavit, Keep the Dream Alive.
Beautifully patient and well-timed and well-manoeuvred ride there by Craig Williams to give Alexander Fields a win in Australia. He's been seeking one through Adelaide, which he got in the Tokyo City Cup. He went to Sydney chasing the Metrop. He went to Maui chasing the Cup. He went to the Saab chasing the Melbourne Cup, but he got the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, remarkable spring, really, isn't it? Hasn't been frightened to travel, this horse, given that he began in New Zealand. Been all over the countryside. Improving horse, there's no doubt about that. His 2 runs this week have both been excellent, and the old combatants, Light Vision and Borghurst Ritual.
Another millimetre between them. They just every time.
You think they go out and shake?
Have a Light Vision and Borghurst, Alf?
He's been well travelled. He went to Sydney to try and win the Metrop. It rained on the day, unfortunately, and look, he just didn't quite get into the Melbourne Cup. Very, very unfortunate. He was unlucky on the Saturday, and look, those first 3 horses have been a model of consistency, basically.
The winner, who was, you know, dominant in the race, I just thought it was a tired horses race. I thought a lot of those horses had been around and around and around, and Cape Cover was the last man standing. Now,
bunch finished. Look at the
Loves it. Let's have a go at this, Steve. Market will be a very good percentage for you to have a play at this. Sailor Gurr, Samantha Miss, top of the market from Betstar, had a nom de jeu, Gallica. All the good would have come back. The new blood there from this year, I suppose, looking at Falcon Bridge, Rebel Raider for sure, and then you've got View and Zipping in the market as well. View?
No interest.
I've got to agree with you, Steve. There's
checking out the facilities for the Hustler to go to the big international meet there end of March. Cox Plate market, this might be a bit more interesting. We've got Who Begot You, Samantha Miss right there. No surprise about that. Them being top of the market with the Hustler. Light fantastic. He'll be back early in the new year. Sebring back on track. And Tessio, Natural, has said he'll certainly be a Cox Plate horse. All the Meteor?
Drink on Melbourne Cup Day in the last.
Terrific. No problem. Yeah. Still a good horse.
I thought it was a good run too.
Try and get the horse there. And the Melbourne Cup market for next year. All those days away, but seems to come around quickly. Bow coming back to try and do it, perhaps, maybe. I think Rebel Raider, he's the horse that comes out of the spring for mine, Steve. That stunning performance in the Derby. Where's he going to get to next year? He's a bit of X factor off that Derby win.
Yeah, extraordinary, isn't it, that we would discuss a horse who won at 100 to 1 in the Derby, but blowing away Who Begot You, who had been the 3-year-old of the spring. Bar the filly, of course. So very interesting.
Right. Wins easily. This is the Thai Airways International Sprint. Let's watch the final 600 here. Turning for home, I gave him no hope.
Down the outer, but Morgan Dollar well clear with 100 to go. Sunburnt Land coming at him hard now, and Aichi flying through in the middle. Sunburnt Land hit the lead. Sunburnt Land and Neck Aichi. Photo third, Biscayne Bay or Morgan Dollar, who walked late, and then Tramontana. Grand Deals.
Of course, after that, he went on to run third in the Salinger Stakes. He was third in the Patinack Farm Classic, so a couple of big third placings there over the carnival. He was just a very, very good sprinter in the making. 8 wins from 18 starts. He'd won $379,000. I think it's fair to say in the next 12 months he would have won one of our big Group 1 sprints. But terrible news, Sunburnt Land killed by lightning strike in a paddock. A freakish accident. It could have happened.
With one name, it's a bit easy just to say Betfair Park, but it is still Sandown, it is the hillside, and there is some. Race 5 coming up here is the Kevin Heffernan. Now, the tote's going to tell you a very different tale to what's going on course. Across the totes on the country, 270 Super Tab, 230 New South Wales, 280 Unitab for Captain Backs. On course, it's $4, and dare I say it, better on the exchange. That's David Payne winning. There's your last look at the tote market here. Favourite 320, 280, 340. That's Captain Backs in the 3 totes. On course, 420, and available at.
Ready, racing, Posadas jump well, Captain Backs away evenly on the outside. Got to have heart, didn't jump all that well. He has to be really driven hard to go through and try and find a place. As they settle fully, it's Posadas from Captain Backs, and Juggle the Books is settling down the side, Posadas by a length. Captain Backs running second, a length, Juggle the Books. Reisman is 4th, Casanero on a wide run is 5th. 2 lengths further back, Drax back, who's over on the inside. Got to have Harders around him. 2 lengths further back in the field then is Diplomatic Force. Double Dare and Zipanese brings up the rear. It's Posadas the leader coming around the home turn, about 5.50 to go. Half a length in front of Captain Backs, Juggle the Books. Wider out there, Casanero coming into it okay despite racing wide. Got to have Harders coming with his run. And then Reisman past the 400 metres now. Posadas tackled by Captain Backs. Juggle the Books on the inside. A length further back is Casanero. And then Got to have hard. Posadas giving a fight. Captain Backs trying hard, and then Juggle the Books. Posadas now tackled by Captain Backs. Captain Backs, he got the upper hand here. And Captain Backs came clear, scored by a length. Posadas. Juggle the Books just holds third from Diplomatic Force. Sipanese ran on into midfield from Gotta Have Heart, Casanero and Double Dare. Then came Reisman and Draxback. He showed up before his condition gave out and he went.
There's the totes on screen. 340 for Captain Backs here on Super.
And a great spring carnival also for Chris Lees and Michael Rodd, the winning jock there, Captain Back's favourite, beating Posada. Slowly run race. It will change when Got to Have Heart missed the start. Dale Smith was questioned. He felt when there was a delay with Captain Back's having a gear adjustment. He was in the barriers too long, refused to jump, and in fact, Got to Have Heart is going to be retired. But Michael, this was different.
Cardo, the speed in the race, while watching the race in Sydney, when Posada sled, I thought, you're going slow. It's an important fact. Is the speed, Matt?
It is, Rich, but I'm sure Michael will agree it didn't turn out that way in Captain Bax's race. I took a trifecta in the second yesterday. I boxed the 4. I thought it'd settle 1, 2, 3, 4 because I thought it might be a leader's track. Well, 3 of them settled 5th, 6th and 7th and trifected the race. So I got to collect by default, but it doesn't always work out, Michael.
Gone on pretty well.
Yeah, the form was worked out, but don't know how strong the form is. This race was changed complexion when Got to Have Heart missed the start because he's a leader. These two horses dominated from the front. Good tactics by Rod. He read the race beautifully, and this just the jar out of the track just suited this horse down to the ground. Thought Diplomatic Force was very
great crowd, great weather, and they're about to see the Betfair Sandown Guineas, and then mounts here for the Betfair Sandown Guineas. There's your market. Cayman's is better on course here, 3:30 on course. Stokehouse on ticket there. Only other horse in the betting, and there has been support, is number 10, Marvine, 6 back into 550.
He was a terrific horse. Did he finish up overseas? I think he might have.
He might have. Oh. Yeah. OK, we're about to find out this year's winner of the Betfair Sandown Guineas. 280 in the take, Carvine.
Caught them in a pretty good line with Arjuna, the first one to bounce out ahead of Lamborghini, and Marvine is showing speed near the inside with Stokehouse. Lucky Thunder settling just off the leading bunch, and then Julio settling fully though. Still appear the big fellow loped along about 1.5 lengths away at the tail. Inside the 1,000 metres, and Arjuna pricks his ears and he crossed over onto the rails in front now. Stokehouse a length away in second. He comes away from the fence now to sit a little closer to the leader. 800 left to go. 2 lengths further back in the field, Lucky Thunder enjoying a pretty good run throughout the race so far. Lamborghini is on his outside. 1 further back is Julio. Marvine the fence. Then Cayman's taking off round Dubai Miss, Renta Rossa, Dual Hemisphere, and Runs to Rule. They corner in the Guineas now. Arjuna from Stokehouse on the outside. They're 2 lengths, 3 lengths. Lucky Thunder, Lamborghini, and Julio. Cayman's on their outside are starting to unwind his run. But Arjuna at the 400 slipped about 1.5 lengths here on Stokehouse. Lucky Thunder, oh, he at the balk. He couldn't get a run, and Cayman's comes on, and Marvine, the little filly's getting right up on the inside now. Cayman's and Marvine come to the 200 metres together. Cayman's bounded away though in the last 100, opened up 2 lengths, and Cayman's comes away to win the Guineas. Cayman's first, 1.5 lengths to Marvine. Lucky Thunder got up for third. Gee was unlucky. Then Stokehouse, Runs to Rule, finished off okay. Next in the finish was Dubai Miss, and then Renta Rossa and Arjuna, Lamborghini, Dual Hemisphere, and Julio, one of the last to go over.
Well, finally some luck goes the way of Cayman's this spring, and he takes victory in the Betfair Sandown Guineas. He was favourite.
Pretty much across the board there. Running double, $7.40 here. The first 4s.
Well, the Carbline Club form standing up, and Cayman's on song yesterday, able to beat Marvine, who was terrifically honest, as she always is. Lucky Thunder, disappointed for around the 200 metre mark. I don't think would have tested the winner, but ran well nonetheless. A deserved victory here, Rich, for Cayman's, who you saw first up in the spring in Sydney. Yeah, look, he should have won the Ming Dynasty in Sydney when he was 8 and 9 deep. His runs in Melbourne, I bet up on him last start. Steve, he wanted to hang. They put I think the tongue tie on yesterday, didn't they?
Well, they certainly did, and it made a difference. Peter Snowden thinks he might have just got his tongue back at Flemington, thinks he might have locked his jaw, and that's why he was difficult to steer, difficult to control there. But yesterday, coming off a moderate pace, he exploded, picked them up pretty strongly, and given that I think the stable probably rates drum beats above him, there's a bit of depth there amongst their 3-year-olds, particularly with yesterday winning as well also.
He just needs room.
Cayman's had all the running and built to his top and continued on. Did it well. I think he's a good horse. I do want to know Michael's opinion of him, because I've always said he's a Group 1 horse, and I always thought he was better than his stablemate Drumbeats. I might have that wrong. Irrespective, terrific performance. He got around Sandown well, where I risked him to some degree, but Marvine was lovely, and the Quinella was acceptable yesterday.
I think he's a Group 1 horse for sure, Alf. I think he'll get further. It's well documented. He's had 3 or 4 runs prior to yesterday where he's been, you know, a victim of bad barriers and well, half ordinary rides. I thought the ride by Corey at Flemington wasn't all that good. He made 2 or 3 runs on him. Was never on the track. He sat 3 wide, but he had cover yesterday. He let down beautifully. As far as Lucky Thunder goes, I don't think Dwayne Dunn should have been in there anyway. He should have been out at the 500. He had room to sort of semi-come out and sort of angle out, and he sort of went back in behind. When you go back in and try to go between 2 leaders that are semi-tiring, you're asking for trouble. I don't think that was the smartest ride in the world. It wouldn't have beat the winner. I think the winner's a top-class horse. I think it'll get further. Runs to rule. It hit the line quite strongly late in the race there, but I just think All Honours with the winner was too good for them.
Yeah, look, he's an erratic big baby. He went to run off at Flemington. He wanted to duck in there. He's got a big stride on him. I think he's been well looked after by Peter Snowden, and he certainly has some really good ammo there for the autumn in Caymans and drum beats, because
which one do you think's the best?
I was sort of thinking Caymans early, and then I switched to drum beats.
But Peter Snowden said yesterday, he said that he thought this horse was inferior to drum beats.
It is the Classic coming up, and here is the market. They've been betting on this since Thursday. It's all been money for Zipping. Oh gee, isn't he tight in the toe? 170, 160, 180, 210 on course at the moment. They've bet 260 through the week. Was Red Ruler out to $7.50. Mark is at 117%. So it's by Simon Salian, but Greg is ready. Let's go to Greg for this year's Classic.
Sandown Classic is set. They're off and racing in the Sandown Classic now, and Zipping jumped away evenly, but he's going to be restrained early. Away pretty quickly down towards the inside, Red Ruler. Borghurst on the rail and going on Light Vision as they've settled into stride. And here's Adoro Valley now starting to stride up on the outside of the leaders as they come down towards the judge. And Zipping is now second last at the pace for the lap to go. And out in front is Red Ruler. Doro, they're followed by Red Lord outside Cape Cover, and a length and a half to Zipping, still about 8 or 9 lengths covering them. 1,000 metres to go, and Red Ruler is the leader. He's a half in front. Red Ruler coming down the side with about a half a length lead over Doro Valley. They haven't run it all that hard. Borghurst in behind them, and then Light Vision. 2 lengths to Road to Rock. Reggie tucked in midfield the rail. They're followed by Red Lord and Cape Cover back towards the end, second last, and Zipping is still at the tail of the field, about to swing around the home turn. 7 lengths covering them now, and first around the bend will be Red Ruler from Doro Valley. A length and a half to Light Vision and Borghurst together. Reggie on the inside. They're followed then by Red Lord coming, and Zipping is the widest runner, and Cape Cover down on the inside. Inside the 400 metre mark now, and Doro Valley raced up, and he's gone to the lead from Red Ruler and Borghurst. 2 lengths to Light Vision. Zipping's got some work to do. Red Ruler kicking back, and on the outside Doro Valley with 100 to go. They're fighting it out with Zipping absolutely launching. Doro Valley in front. Zipping grabbed him, won. Oh boy, last stride. Zipping got there to beat Doro Valley and Red Ruler. Light Vision, Road to Rock, and then Reggie. Just behind those horses in the race to finish was Cape Cover, and then Red Lord. And Borghurst, one of the last to go over the line. Did you have your heart in your mouth or what?
We've got the, yes, he has one Zipping. You'll see the photo in a minute. Greg Miles gets another big one right, and he'll get this. What a performance it was too. He just let loose that last 200. We'll get those sectionals for you later,
I'm
Steve.
not sure that Michael Rodd was quite as confident as Greg Miles, given the angle of his head there on the line.
Had a look over, like,
you know, the top 3 or 4 stays in the country, you'd think. Sizzling stuff, and home at 11.4. 11.4 the last 200 for the winner, and 22 something and change for the last 400 at the end of a 2,400 metre race. 22.27, so that's pretty solid stuff. Good performance from this winner, Zipping, and Michael Rodd has ridden the winner. We'll have a chat with Michael in just a few. Have a look at the interim dividends for you on screen as Zipping $2, $1.90, $2 across the board there.
Red Ruler, Light Vision.
Greg Miles gets it right again in a narrow photo finish. He wasn't going to back down after the Melbourne Cup, was he? Zipping did get there, making it 12 wins from 34 starts, making it back-to-back wins in this race and giving punters a big collect. $2.60 bet on Thursday, Friday into $2.05. The margin was skinny, Michael, but numbers in the frame there. Number 1 wins. Terrific.
That's right. He certainly knows where the line is, and he's always strong. His last sort of 100 metres, he just jumps out of the, sit there and let him go through their gears before you really ask him.
At any stage, did you think the bird had flown?
Yeah, I did, Rich. I sort of thought I might have been a bit patient about the 300 metre mark, but
That zipping. He's heart in the mouth sort of stuff. And once I got the furlong and he picked up and changed gears and the afterburners kicked in, he can really fly. And I mean, we've seen in the past that this is what he does. He's always flashing home late, and I just hope it wasn't going to be too late.
Lloyd, Steve's the point you made, I think. Where does Zipping sit? He's won 2 Sandown Classics. He's run 4th in 2 Cups, and in this year's Melbourne Cup, he ran a blinder running 9th, considering what happened to him.
Second in a Cox Plate.
Very well. And he's earned this reputation, this horse, as being a little bit unlucky, and I feel sorry for him because he's better than these horses. He may not quite be the ultimate, but he deserves to win a Group 1 race at some stage, and as I've said in the past, you can put a case together that he should have won a Group 1 by now. Duro Valley, I thought James Winks's ride on it was absolutely fantastic. He just, Light Vision and Borghurst, they've been wonderful through the carnival. They're just coming to the end of their tether.
Yeah, definitely. Look, he's a really good horse. He's a really good horse. Probably the best horse in the country that hasn't, probably deserves to win a Group 1.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you target a horse like him for a BMW in the autumn? Look,
I think that's his maximum trip.
Well, I think that's just perfect.
Perfect trip for
that's
him.
a terrific performance in a slowly run race. To come back from a Melbourne Cup and rattle off a sectional like that. That was an amazing performance.
Well, the speed of the race said everything. Duro Valley and Red Ruler, they took the running up and they finished up running 2nd and 3rd, and he came from last. The field basically held its line in a bunch. They're all the way up the straight. The leader's got a bit of a kick, and then he let down this amazing little sprint that he's got at the end of the race. His closing sectionals were phenomenal, and he should be a Group 1 winner. He's the horse. He's the sort of horse who could win a Cox Plate. I mean, if he had had a decent run in the Cox Plate with a true pace on, he very well could have won the race. I mean, he was ridden completely foreign in the Cox Plate. It wasn't the jockey's fault. He had to do that because of the tempo, and he still battled well. His Melbourne Cup run was fantastic. Oh no, he's a very talented horse. You put him in the right weight for age race with pace on, he'll overpower just about any field.
For sure. Well, like I say, an Australian Cup, a BMW, they're just ideal targets for a horse like that when we're lacking in weight for age, staying